All right, what's up, everybody? We are live again. Y'all know how we do it on this Saturday show. Me and Hood Conservative. We tackle controversial topics. We dig right into it. We're going to be digging a little deeper with this whole Kyrie Irving, Kanye West thing. Both of them are in the media. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know the backstory with that. Um, it's sort of new developments happening. I notice it seems as if the NBA is kind of like trying. It's like they're softening their approach. I don't know if it's because of the backlash everybody's been putting out. Even the Shannon Sharp, Stephen A, and a lot of people are all of a sudden developing a backbone when it comes to this. As far as that list of demands and everything, and then Kanye West is on his normal Kanye West stuff where he be saying a lot of stuff, saying some deep stuff, making some sense, but then in the midst of saying some things where it's like we with him, like, yeah, Kanye, that's right. Tell him, Kanye, tell him, Kanye. Then he just slip in and they sacrifice my mama. I'm like, whoa, hold on, wait, what, Kanye? What you say? It's like so we got to get into all of that. We about to be getting into all that. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome aboard. Welcome to the show. Y'all know what it is. Make sure you hit the like button before you even come in the building. Hit the like button. Well, you can't hit it before you come in the building. Hit it after you come in the building, whether you're catching it live or you're catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it. I see we got Winthrop, Mike, and Vince Perkins. That's Mike. I don't even know why I say Mike and Vince Perkins. What up, Mike? I know that's you. I don't know. Vince. I actually met Vince in person, but I met Vince Perkins in person. I know he exists, but Mike is the only one that socializes. But TD Hutch in the building says the great tag team. Let's get it. Hit the damn like button. Absolutely. So we're about to get into this. And like I always say, when we do these Saturday shows, it's normally normally Hood Conservative who I'd say 90% of the time, if not 95% of the time, he normally picks the topics for these and normally do an excellent job. And this was one that was like kind of right on my mind anyway, of covering all the recent developments with this. So before we even get all the way into it, give us just a little precursor of what's leading us into this today. So go ahead, welcome aboard. You got the floor, you got the mic.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Another Saturday. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate all y'all coming through. And the first question I asked you when we were just talking a second ago in the background, is this hip hop Illuminati thing like real all of a sudden? Because I remember I used to have that one weird homeboy, or sometime even the chick would be talking about it. Oh, they sacrificed such and such. Jay Z's nephew and this rapper and that rapper, and they would throw stuff out there, and it would sound like an interesting story. But I'd be like, yeah, whatever, nigga. Like, well, I mean, even if I do believe in a thing called the Illuminati, which I'm inclined to believe in something like that. I don't necessarily think rappers are that like important that the Illuminati actually wants to mess around with them. But then, I've been forced to reconsider because, my boy Yeezus, right? Yeezus died on the cross for all of our black sins, and apparently, apparently Yeezus is like the hip hop Illuminati. I mean, he didn't say that, but he was like, they sacrificed my mama. And then the clip just ends right there. I'm like, huh? Whoa, hold on. We got to talk about this, bro. Hold up. This is wild. We really now I got to reconsider all the times I said them niggas was crazy, bro.
Man, I ain't going. let me just put it out there. I mean, you said it good. And JC to go down real quick. And JC the Conqueror says we talking about real shit instead of black women. That's I should have ignored it. I should have ignored it. I should have ignored it.
No, because what that means is black women aren't real shit. So okay, I agree with you.
Yeah, but it's the pouring salt on the platform while simultaneously watching platforms that's all they do. You love this shit. You love watching people that talk shit about people that talk shit about black women, and you like watching people that talk shit about black women. You love this shit. Like, so cut it out. All right, I should have ignored it. But anyway. Where was we at? I gotta stay out the chat so I can
yeah. So
okay.
My other question, one other question. This is because I said this too in the background. I just want to throw this idea out there for the audience. If Kanye is crazy, did they make him crazy? I mean, like, all right, if y'all did all this to him, you got his mama, you got this little weird Pasternak guy threatening to have him locked up. Did you see that stuff? I think I did a little content on that.
What happened now?
His trainer, Pasternak, what's his name? Harley Pasternak, he's of the tribe. And he was like, my trainer, Pasternak, he had him committed the first time. And now Pasternak is threatening to have him recommitted. And then even in the same tweet, he was like, and look, don't make me shoot you up with these drugs. Them visits with your kids is going to hit different when you got these drugs up in you. Like, bro.
Wait, hold on. Now, is it evidence that happened, or did Kanye just say that happened?
Kanye put out the screenshots from like his personal his personal text messages. So we only have it on his word, right? Which is, the nature of these things. But he put out the, quote, evidence, right? Receipts, as they say.
Now, that part right there, okay, is like, okay, that's his trainer, all right? By trainer, you mean the person that works him out. Basically.
Not only is he his trainer, apparently he's the trainer for a lot of other Hollywood people, several of which have been committed, went to these facilities for exhaustion and all these other weird Hollywood illnesses. Like, apparently he's just a guy at the middle of a spider web.
So if we go in full tinfoil hat with it, they get a guy who's the guy who is the trainer for a lot of the celebrities, and he giving them supplements and all kind of shit like that. Like he's the one, he put them on their regimen, and stuff like that.
Right.
And so he's controlled by the nondescript they, and then he puts the
I started calling them not whites.
Not whites?
Yeah, they're not white.
Okay, the people who's really control, are they lizard people, or they?
Maybe I just they're just not whites. It's a phrase that I become comfortable with that kind of understanding of it, because they seem like white, but they're not white.
Yeah, shout out to JC the Conqueror says his trainer making wild threats. That is crazy. That is crazy. The trainer making wild threats. See, I'm typically the type of person who, like, when it comes to, Illuminati and all that, I never was going with that. There's this secret organization that's really pretty damn bad at keeping a secret, and because everybody know about them and talking about them and this or that or whatever. Now, the needle have been moved on my end as far as uh uh I guess we could say the Jews. It's funny how some people can't say it. Like Candace Owens, we gonna play a clip of her talking shit. Like, it's like she can talk her shit. I saw Jason Whitlock be going in talking his shit. It's like they could talk their shit, but sometimes those big platforms, I mean, hell, Larry Elder stay demonetized. So it's like some stuff is like you can't say or they'll come for you. They may not take your channel down, but you're liable to get demonetized and stuff like that. So I do try to be careful. But when it comes to the Jews and how much money or how much their hands are in everything, it's like, and when I say the Jews, I mean the Jewish elite. There's normal working Jews that I mean, when you say a working class Jew, you think of a lawyer. You don't even think of just
right. Well, what is he, a mechanic? Does he have a farm?
What the fuck are the Jewish carpenters?
Listen. I drive through farm country a lot, and I don't see any little hat. I rarely see a tiny hat. Big ass with straw hats, but never a little tiny one, bro. It's a wild thing when you start to look at it.
Hey, JC, don't come in here promoting people that hate on me, okay? Like, damn, like your level of self-awareness is just not there sometimes. All right. Okay, here we go.
Well, one thing, and this is the issue. Gotta pull a clip out. Let me just say this really quickly, though.
Let's get some clips.
The great issue that I think we all are having here is that we can all see a thing, and we don't necessarily all see the same side of it. It's like, that joke about, you've got a group of blindfolded people and they're all touching an elephant, but nobody knows exactly what they're touching, so they're all describing these wild things. And it's like, we know there's something going on, and because the rules are very opaque, like you were talking about Larry Elder and Whitlock, and now the Candace Owens clip, like some people are allowed to exist and say things almost, bluntly. And even then, they're not allowed to be as blunt as, say, two guys standing on the street corner with nobody else around. And it's like, because you're not allowed to actually describe in full, I don't know, verbiage, with full, complete, verbosity. Is that a word? It's a word now. Well, you're not allowed to use complete verbosity in talking about what you see here. And so, because you can't actually use your full capacity to describe things, no one is ever allowed to get to an honest point of truth.
Yeah, and you spoke on something, and before we get to the clips, I do want to say this. There's a lot of people who I would say work for the machine that they can't exactly say what I don't even say they can't say what they want to say. They just can't say anything. They kind of got to toe the party line, and then, like with the Kyrie situation, they got to toe the party line and then get back to talking about sports. That's what they did at first. And it is my theory and my position that, people on the internet, not trying to make it seem like just my channel is carrying all the way. There's a lot of people sprinkled all over. A lot of people sprinkled all over the internet, all over social media that are calling it as straight as they possibly can, provided how much they're willing to risk their channel. What that has done is that has made it to the point to where people like Shannon Sharp, like Stephen A. Smith, like Jay Williams, a lot of black men in the media now, it's like we've created an environment where it became untenable for them to straddle the fence, because it's getting to the point to where y'all gonna lose the masses. The social media, everybody got a mic, everybody can get their opinion, their views out there. That has made it to the point to where it's no longer it's no longer a situation where okay, they could put black people on camera in front of us to say the things that we want them to say, and then now the black people listening will hear that and think that is right. No, those black people, they have a lot of other people to go and look to. A lot of other people to go and look to it here, and then it's like a uproar and uprising, almost a riot. It's almost like a riot from the masses on the internet has made it to the point to where it's no longer acceptable, comfortable, and not even an intellectually tenable position for Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp to be, basically placating to the whole, Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic thing, where they basically had to draw a line at some
Did I
point.
send you the Did I send you the Jalen Rose thing?
No, you didn't send me the Jalen Rose one, but the Shannon Sharp.
There are two Jalen Rose clips. Oh my God, we got to get through that too today, because Jalen Rose, he had to defend his blackness, and I was like, bruh, like he literally started out the clip like, since y'all want to talk about my blackness, I was like, hold on, let me get in my YouTube creator studio. I can't listen to this until I'm ready.
All right, so let me pull up some shit. Where we at? Now I can't find it. I had it ready to go, and now as soon as I'm ready to pull it up, it disappeared. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. See, I don't even know what's the first one on the docket.
The very first one should be Kanye, and we should probably
we can
play
start
that,
there.
get it out the way.
Yeah, we could definitely start there, because Kanye, like I said, I ain't going on this one. I ain't going on this one.
Go? You scared? Come on, yo, come with me, man. You be going with me everywhere else. You don't want to come with me, man? No, that's fucked up. I thought we was homies, bro. You gonna flat leave me?
I ain't a tinfoil hatter like that, man. I ain't a tinfoil hatter.
I'm gonna go and I'll tell you what I found.
When he said they sacrificed his he said his mom got sacrificed, I was like, oh wait, hold on, something is weird going on here. But hold on, let's go ahead and roll it. Where's that at? Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. And I hate that his mouth is not lined up with the words, but it is. We can hear him though.
It's scary. They can't control you. They can't. They try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
you see,
you.
it ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? And just for Minister Farrakhan, I love you, but the way you read that, I took that as a slight. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking no disrespect from nobody. So let's get on the phone. Let's talk that out. I don't care who you are.
All right, why taking jabs at Farrakhan, man? I didn't get that. Farrakhan been riding hard for him.
I didn't watch the entirety of the Farrakhan thing, because Minister Farrakhan did speak on this whole matter, Kanye, Kyrie, and the whole Hebrew thing. And I'm not sure what Farrakhan said that Kanye took issue with, so I can't really speak on it. But I don't. He obviously did kind of take a shot, so I'm not going to back off that point. But I think he just sort of was like, bro, like call me. That's the most he did was like, listen, I ain't like that. Call me. So I kind of just leave that at that. It's not the worst, because dudes be doing a lot. He's just like, listen, you got to talk to me, bro. So I can respect that.
All right, cool. We'll go with that.
Nobody, right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah. I'm Christian.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still, Forbes, who hate me, right, had to write net worth 400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
That's more important than thinking of life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is gonna be heard. Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozy, none of these names, none of these
Yo, he
people
calling
that
out
have to listen to y'all
everybody.
because they have legal. I never killed nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never killed nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail.
All right.
Like, he's speaking in some crazy innuendos right there. Because, like, are you saying that these people have some kind of crime that people know about and that's being used as controlling leverage, or even more sinister, have they been a part of some sort of ritual crime, like how, like, when you got to join the mafia, they say you got to kill somebody, make your bones is the quote. So have you been through a process like that in Hollywood? And that's the, I ain't never killed nobody, so I can say what I want thing. He's making crazy innuendos right here, man. Shout out to Ye. I want to know, man, is hip hop Illuminati a thing?
I think what it is this. And I gotta get on your boy your boy Donald Trump on this one too. I remember when Donald Trump was damn it, I wish I remembered this. Where Donald Trump was like tweeting his conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, you're the president. The buck stops with you. You got the highest level of clearance. It's like what? And so that's why I said
so did JFK.
Well, explain what you mean by that, because somebody shot him.
Right. So there is no level of clearance that makes you bulletproof.
That's true, but somebody on the side could conspire to shoot you, but when the conspiracy theories are coming from on high and you're the on high, that's a conspiracy theory. That was a conspiracy in the traditional word, the typical basic word, definition of conspiracy is a group of people to conspire in secrecy to do something. But essentially, that's the definition. So yes, somebody on the ground can conspire in secrecy to take out a president if that's what they want to do. So yes, anybody can get touched. That much is true. Anybody can get touched. However, I think it's within some people that no matter how high up they get, they're always going to believe that there's something going on. Like my mom just didn't die. No, they did that so they could try to control me or keep me crazy or keep me this or keep me so I didn't just lose an election. It's this, it's that, is that, some people are going to always believe something is going on. And so, my thing is, you got to show me evidence. I'm not going to believe something outrageous on a hunch. And that's my problem with when people do what he just did. Okay, yep, Michael Jordan's dad died. It was speculation whether or not it was Jordan owed some gambling debt or whatever. Bill Cosby's son, I don't even know the full details with that. But what reason do you have? What
just
evidence
found on the side of the road? He just was killed, murdered randomly. I don't even know if anyone ever got caught for that.
Yeah, people get murdered all the time. What is the what's your story and what's your evidence that it was some plot of Bill Cosby did something wrong back in when? What was this, the 80s, 70s, 90s? When did his son die?
This was probably in the early 2000s, I would think. This wasn't,
shit. Okay.
yeah, this was well after the Cosby Show.
Okay, cool. See, like I said, I don't know the full details of that one. Okay, sometime after the Cosby Show, Bill Cosby did something wrong. He was trying to buy a network or something, and they said, "Nah, you can't do that. We're gonna be killing your son. You overstepping your bounds." You gotta give me evidence when it comes to stuff like that. That's what I always say.
Some people can correct me if I'm wrong, but there has been something called Operation Mockingbird, which is like, a CIA plot to reach out to members of the music world. This was something back from the 60s when, it was all kind of weird stuff going on. But that's, another one of those things that people just throw out there as part of the evidence. Like, no, it's kind of been documented that the CIA has an interest in the media. So if the CIA can do it, if just opening the door to that idea, who else would want to do things of that nature? Influence the media for whatever reason.
All right. My bad. I got to stay out of the chat. Yeah, I chill in the chat with the petty bickering, arguing about bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with the topic. Okay. So what point were you saying there? You saying that the CIA have always had an interest in media and whatnot?
It's an allegation. Several different authors have went on to write books about how the CIA back in the 60s. It was, just think of it as a propaganda campaign. Basically, they went out to different artists to influence their music so the music could influence the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see how that's a thing, but when you go to pinning bodies, you gotta have more evidence than a hunch. That's
True.
That's where I'm at with that, and that's why I typically don't go. Shout out to Mr. Fantastic doing the Tinfoil Tuesday series. I was low key plotting on doing something like that, but I was going to do it differently. Where I was going to debunk. I was going to take the time to debunk a lot of the conspiracy theories and show how a lot of the shit is made up and the source of where it was made up and how it's wrong. But I stepped down. I let the people with the tinfoil hats have it. I was going to do something like that. But yeah. But the sacrifice is mother part. The sacrifice is mother part. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'll just say I'll say that and I'll leave that there. I'll say that and I'll leave that there. That he's saying some stuff that it sound like some made for TV stuff. I'm the only one high up in the organization that ain't never killed nobody, that ain't never did this, so I can say what I want. They got leverage over everybody else. Everybody else who can't say it, they got leverage on them to ruin their life or end their life, so they can't really say what they want to say, but I can say it. It's like, that sounds real fantastical to me.
It does. Some people do fantastical things that no one would believe, though.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll leave that one right there. Because
I'm not going to drag you down the rabbit hole. I know it's a weird thing, and it's not like I have a ton of evidence to make a whole 1 hour stream about it either. So I'm just going to flirt around at the edges here.
Yeah, flirt around at the edge. Now, if you put together a whole show on that, I definitely sit back, pull up a chair, and watch. I definitely sit back, pull up a chair, and watch. But
well, he did say a lot about not just rappers and stuff, but this kind of does segue into the whole Kyrie thing too, because the first names out of his mouth were like Shaq and Barkley and all that. Mm-hmm. And I remember when this whole thing kicked off, Twitter had a lot of these images going around with Shaq and Barkley, and it was somebody else maybe, but with all those times where they had dresses on, and it was like, Kanye, did Kanye ever wear a dress? Did they put him in a dress yet? I don't think so.
No, I'm pretty positive.
Kanye put bitches in dresses, like, respectfully.
What did you say?
I said Kanye puts bitches in dresses, like respectfully. That's what he's a fashion designer. He literally he puts women in dresses. Like they don't put the dress on him.
That one went far over my head.
He does. That's his world, though. That's his thing. Like, he makes clothes and shit. So yeah, he puts dresses on bitches. They don't put dresses on him.
Oh man, that's funny as fuck. That's funny as fuck. But shout out
somebody
to
said Kanye wore a kilt. Oh shit. Damn, that was good. The kilt's a little close, bro.
Yeah, the kilt is I mean, I don't approve that message wearing a kilt, but it's different, but don't do the shit, but it is different. Don't do it, but it's different. Like they
Like,
do it over there for whatever reason. I mean, hell, they wore kilts in fucking Braveheart while
right, it's
slaughtering
a warrior
motherfuckers on the
thing.
battlefield. So I
Right.
mean, so the kilt is a little gangster, but don't do it. Just don't do it. Sir Tyson the building with the $10 super chat. He says the fake woke NBA is hearing the backlash on social media and somewhat caving. Yes, that's what I've been getting at. It's like the social media rioters basically have made their point. Like, no, we ain't going. So I'm with that. I'm with that, and I support that 100%. That basically enough people have raised their voices to where, like, no, y'all are on some bullshit. Y'all are going to lose support. Just like when y'all went, y'all went too woke with the kneeling and Black Lives Matter painted on the court, and when they was doing the playoffs in the bubble and all of that stuff. Y'all, it's like y'all went too far with the wokeness and the political messaging and all of that stuff to where a lot of people just said, "Fuck it, we not watching this shit." So that happened, and so now they going too far with the rallying or warring against anybody who said something that may be slightly or full blown. I don't even want to say anti-Semitic because I don't know, and I don't really even know what it means. I don't even know who's anti-Semitic or what. The people doing all of this. Anybody show any dislike for the Jewish elite? But doing all of this is it's getting to the point where it's become a bad look for the NBA. And Candace Owens about to speak on this, and we're gonna react to what she's saying as well. It's gotten to the point to where it's just an overall bad look, and the black people in the media that work for the machine, they no longer can sit there and just just tote the party line no more. They can't. They really can't do it no more. Like that's ultimately what it has become to. But shout out to Sir Tice. What did he say? I think I already read most of it. Let me start over. The fake woke NBA is hearing the backlash on social media and somewhat caving, similar to how I read auto bio of Malcolm X, buffoon Akron guy. That's LeBron James. Sir Tice, it's weird that you never say LeBron James' name. It's just I've never heard you say his name. Like, you hate him that much to where you just won't enunciate the 3 syllables, LeBron James. It's weird. He says buffoon Akron guy has changed his stance. See, I didn't even know that one. But shout out to Sir Tice. Do appreciate it. But all right, let's go ahead.
I didn't hear that yet either. Braun backing down too. Oh, cool.
Yeah. No, all of them changing their tune. All of them are changing their tune. And for the people out there that say that, well, you don't make a difference, you ain't gonna make no difference. You just howling at the moon on the internet, and you ain't got no power and all that. No, enough people speaking up on the internet that stirs the pot of the culture. It stirs the pot of the culture, and people sitting higher up hear it, and then they start changing their tune. And then the things that we're saying ultimately become the norm. So yeah, but anyway, go ahead. You was about to say something.
Now, isn't it weird? Because when we first started the stream, I was thinking like I do feel a teeny tiny like 0.5% of ownership of this wave of like discontent that you were talking about. Because like some of my biggest streams lately was going in on this stuff. Like, how y'all gonna claim to be pro-black and be quiet about this whole thing? And now, after a week of people kind of being like, you know what, that does kind of make, that is a good point. This does look like an attack on a bunch of black men for basically nothing. Now it's starting to become a thing. Yeah. I feel like I was a part of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I take some ownership. I take some ownership and some of being a part of the machine that a part of the machine that's warring against the machine. Yeah. But all right, let's go.
Entirety, because it is important. It's important to underscore first and foremost the absurdity of the media, the way that they are behaving in that press conference. They're essentially approaching him, pretending that every single word of the documentary that Kyrie Irving did not make, he has to answer for. Could you imagine a world in which everything you watch, right, you are somehow now responsible for every single word within it?
Let me ask you this real quick. because I accuse Candace Owens, even though I like a lot of stuff she say, I do accuse her and a lot of people of, kind of toting the party line. They got the majority white Republican audience, so I look at them, even though they say a lot of stuff I agree with. I look at them as people who also can't go off script. It's just the script that they're on is a lot of the times the script I agree with, but they can't go off of it if some shit go too far in the other direction now, or too far in that direction. So far as her script, if we're going to call it that, the white conservatives, if you had to guess, you being a black person on a black conservative person, a black conservative, if you had to guess or explain where the typical white conservative stands or falls on this whole Kyrie being told to bend the knee by the Jewish elite and in all the places where they got their money, power, and influence in, i.e. the NBA and Nike and all of this, basically trying to publicly spank Kyrie Irving. Where does the typical white conservative stand on that? If you had to guess. I don't know if she's going off script or if she's gonna disrupt because some of her people, her core followers. I know Ben Shapiro had some issues with her. So
I was gonna go. That's exactly what I was gonna bring up, because this kind of cuts across weird lines, even in the community. Yes. Even within the tribe, like there's some of the regulars don't like the Zionists, as they call it, right? So there's a dispute amongst that group even. But what happened with Candace, she like retweeted something from a guy named Max Blumenthal, who he's Jewish too, and apparently he's a critic of Israel, and so a lot of other Jewish people are they just don't like him, they don't fuck with him like that. And so apparently her retweeting him caused Ben Shapiro, which is her boss, to like call her out on Twitter. So, it's now a public spat. And basically he said something to her about, you retweeting this guy who's like, I think he called him like anti-Semitic even, which is like, bro, y'all both in the same family. But
and real quick, and we call them the small hats. Ben Shapiro literally goes live wearing a small hat. Like, let's just make sure we put that out there. let's make that very clear so we can see where the battle lines are drawn. But it's some weird overlapping lines going on here.
Right. Like, even within their own house, there's little issues there going on. But the bigger thing, to go back to like white conservatives, I don't think the white conservatives are concerned about the black argument per se. That's our thing. But the bigger picture here is censorship in general. Mm-hmm. And what's happening is like this social credit score system that China has become famous for now, where basically if you say or do the wrong things, you start to lose points. Like you start to lose humanity points, basically, where you're no longer allowed to operate as a full-fledged person to your fullest capability. And you see that with Kanye. First he gets out of line. He's not like a nobody that you can just fire him and his life's over. So they cancel as much of his money as possible. So now he is half as wealthy as he was when he started this. Like, that's a big hit. And a regular person, he might want to commit suicide after you take his life away like that. But he's got a big cushion to land on, so it's a lot of work to destroy him per se. But still, you see the problem of, if you say the wrong thing, it's not that the police will now arrest you for committing a crime. No, the system will just ruin your life to the point of you might as well eat a bullet. And that's the thing, that it's like a very quiet evil, which are probably the worst kinds of evil.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting at. If it was ever a moment, and not that I'm being a conservative strategist, but we always talk about, and this is a reoccurring theme on my show, because a lot of people over here are more on the conservative side, and I've said that the conservatives, or more specifically, the Republicans, have essentially, ignored black people. They like, okay, the Democrats got them. We can't do nothing about this. But how the Democrats are pussyfooting around, everybody more on the liberal side is pussyfooting around on this and just basically towing the party line. the conservatives who have been speaking real big on free speech. They've been speaking real big on free speech and talking about how the liberals are trying to limit it. It would be a really, really good strategy for them to win black people over if they just went all guns blazing, fighting and supporting this black man's free speech, freedom of expression. That would be the strategy for them to try to, you know, at least placate to the notion that, hey, black people, we have common interests. You know, there's a lot of stuff y'all can't say, y'all can't do. They come at y'all. No, we believe in free speech over here. We're gonna support your right to say whatever crazy shit you want to say, even if that means calling us racist. That's really what white conservatives should be doing right now.
Look at the weird game. This is why I say the not whites, because it's a weird trick that's been played on black people. The whole thing about one of the issues, one of the issues with this whole Hebrew thing, the Hebrews to Israelite movie that Kyrie linked, at a certain point, I think they start talking about one, they question, you know, the Holocaust, which is a no-no. And think about that for a minute, right? That's the one incident where there are places in this world where you go to jail if you don't believe it happened. It's almost like a religious it's like compelling people religiously. Like, you have to believe what the church says on that. And it's a weird thing. And on the other end, too, there's this problem of, on the right, we've been captured a little bit. So, like, when black people look at this Hebrews to Israelites thing, most white people, I mean, when we think about slavery, we think about your average white guy, right? But when you start getting into that Hebrews to Israelites kind of research, you find out it wasn't your average white guy. It was the not whites. I mean, almost entirely the not whites. You know, the buying, the selling, the capturing, the insurance, the financing, it was almost entirely the not whites. And so there's this trick that's been played essentially on everybody. So when you think slavery, you think white people, but they're not white. And so now to fast forward to, you know, the conservatives, a lot of proper like mainstream politics, it's weird where you're allowed to say all this stuff about racism and talk about white people, but you're not allowed to actually go down this path that, you know, Kanye and Kyrie are going down, where it's like, it's actually not the white people.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, like, think about it. Every black comedian, and actually this clip we're gonna play with Skip and Shannon is gonna actually touch on this. Skip Bayless slipped in a good point. Shannon was spitting, but Skip slipped in a good point on him, where he basically alluded to it's all kind of things that, you know, a white person, you know, can't say that about black people that a black person can say about white people. And it's true, black people can say a lot of stuff about white people, but why not? Why not the Jews? That's the thing.
Well, then you start to think about, well, because they run the show, so it's okay to talk about them, because somehow there's a beef between them. You obviously want people to talk shit about them all the time, but even if it's you who's actually done all the things that I hate, I'm not allowed to say that because I work for you.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's roll some more of what Candace Owens talking about here.
Notably absent, by the way, is the press going up to Jeff Bezos, who is the owner of Amazon, who runs Amazon, and saying, "Hey, why did you allow this documentary to be on Amazon?"
That's another one that came right, and I mean right from social media. Nobody was saying that on TV. That was a social media uproar where everybody was pointing out, like, wait, hold on. We're gonna put all guns blazing at Kyrie Irving for sharing it. Nobody has nothing to say to Amazon or Bezos or the team of executive decision makers over there that make that available for the public. Nobody had nothing to say there. It was people on social media who pointed out that, hey, that's your biggest target. That's your enemy right now. That's your poser right there. If you want to talk about somebody putting out anti-Semitic stuff, the person who's selling it and making money off of it. And Candace Owens about to talk about how it essentially became, through everybody talking about it, how it became the number one. That's the number one selling documentary on Amazon right now. So there's that. That's your enemy, the people who just made a shitload of money off of it.
There's no outcry. There's no everybody delete your Amazon accounts because of this documentary. They are putting this firmly and squarely on Kyrie Irving, which is problematic in the first place. I want to also make it clear that in listening to his words, it is pointedly ridiculous that they would say that he is unfit to be associated with. There was nothing that he said, but I would say that he is unfit to be associated with because he very clearly condemns the falsities in the movie. He says, I do not think this way. He actually calls them falsehoods that are unfortunate, right? He says that that is not what I said. Do not attribute every word in this documentary to what my beliefs are. He also very clearly stipulates to them when they ask him, are you anti-Semitic? He clarifies that he's not anti-Semitic. Now, why is Kyrie Irving saying that? Why is he?
All right, he didn't exactly clarify it because it was okay. He said, I can't be anti-Semitic because I know who and what I am or something like that. And so in saying that, they would view that as anti-Semitic, him saying that I can't be anti-Semitic
because factually correct.
I'm Semitic, motherfucker. That's
he is
that's
factually correct. The word Semite refers to people of the African and Asiatic, like I forget the exact terminology, but like Afro-Asiatic or something like that. But it definitely throws, the Afro in there. So you do have room to claim some kind of ownership, even if it's vague. It's not like you're totally off base for reaching to that.
No, he's not off base. But what I'm saying is, they would still view that as anti-Semitic. Him simply saying that I can't be anti-Semitic because I am because I am Semitic. That's basically arguing damn near the point that I'm going to assume. I haven't watched it. I got to go ahead and watch that documentary.
Hey, but this is why. Hold
on, real quick. That's kind of arguing the point that the Hebrews to Negroes movie made, essentially. So when they ask, "Are you anti-Semitic?" then it's like he doubled down on what was in that documentary, and that's why they like, he didn't say that he wasn't. So that's where they're at with it.
Bro, think about what this really means, right? If it is offensive to you to say that I cannot be one of you, then damn, nothing says white supremacy like you niggas can't sit here.
Yeah, but if you look at what that means when you really follow it all the way home, he's basically saying that y'all not the real Jews. That's what he low key said to him, and that's why they blew it up. that's why they couldn't deal with it, and they had to bring out that list of demands.
Y'all don't want to have the fight, and I don't even have a horse in the fight, but I want to see the fight. Like, yes. Okay, prove him wrong.
Come to the table and debate. Go find one of the dudes on the side of the road. I mean, I'm kind of close to Detroit, so it's a lot of them out there. They be dressed in the colorful. Okay, I don't want to be disrespectful, but they be dressed in the outfits. Y'all see them y'all see them on in public settings out on the streets, proselytizing and speaking their the black Israelites, the black Hebrews.
No. You know what? I'm gonna do you one better, right? Because the Hebrew Israelites have been protesting at the Barclays Center. Yeah, the Hebrew Israelites have been protesting at the Barclays Center. This whole boycott the NBA. And so we don't have to do no colorful description. Let the image speak for itself. Let me pull the screen up really quickly here, just to let people see what's going on.
But while you pull that up, the point that I'm making is, if they're really accurate, go and find the most knowledgeable leader of the black Hebrew Israelites and have the discussion, have the debate, defeat them in debate, win the argument, and then it's done. Just flat out, just do that. If you're correct, but trying to sanction what somebody else can say or can't say, or how Sub-Zero said, shout out to Sub-Zero, somebody else's personal expression of belief in God and worshiping God, to try to sanction that in any way, that's coming off
Amazon
as,
too,
that's
for
shaky.
hosting the movie. Well, there's many things out
Hold on,
there
what we
that
got going on
people
here? I'm
would
hearing
question on Amazon.
Hold up.
Oh, you know what? My bad.
Let me get some of my branding, some of the stuff down real quick. Okay.
Hold on. I pulled up something. Give me 1 second. I pulled up the wrong thing.
All right, don't fuck up with the screen share and have some of your,
No, this YouTube. This YouTube. Okay. This is all YouTube.
Yeah, I don't do a total screen share. I only share.
I know.
You share the specific file or specific video that you want to share, but when you share your whole screen, people be getting busted.
Oh, I had it earlier. The Hebrew Israelites was at the Barclays Center like 2 days ago. Oh, there it is.
They've been lying for so long and living this lie of being Jews. They talking about, hey, Kyrie, you got to come and speak to the Jewish Brooklyn leaders. Where are they? Come speak to us. The truth of this Bible was given unto you, Israelites. You got a problem with...
And they changed their clothes too. I don't think they do the whole like Hebrew warrior garb like they used to back in the 90s. They, purple hoodies is enough for these guys.
Oh, no,
but they got the little frilly thing at the bottom too.
They do the what?
I said they got that little frilly thing at the bottom there. So you're gonna see the full hoodie.
Those are called fringes. Those are called fringes.
I don't know what. Those things.
Yeah, but no, I think they could put the fringes at the bottom of any shirt. They like to sew it in, like they're
they sew
legit. I think their wives sew in the fringes at the so they could be out there rocking a Brooklyn Nets jersey with some fringes on it. They could.
Hey, you got to make the women a part of your dream. That's what's up.
Yeah, no, they about it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Come talk to us. We're going to bring you this Bible, thus saith the Lord. This gospel is spreading. You cannot contain the truth of the Bible. There's many things that's evil going on in the land of Israel, but there's no media coverage for that. But when black people do crime in the hood, it's all on the news. It's all on the news. Who control the news? The Jewish media, like Kanye West said. Now let's see what color they are. They are black. What color are the Jews? They are black. If you're black, you are Shemitic. So Kyrie Irving was correct. Of 6 things. Hey, guess what, Kyrie? You gotta come over here and make my little kid lunch. Hey, Kyrie, guess what? Can we ride you like a horse? Then you can get your job back. No, we're not
Hey.
Oh, I had to stop. Hold on. I can't ride you like a horse.
Look, man.
Oh. Damn, no wonder. The other day they said Kyrie was thinking about retiring. I'm like, you know what? I would be thinking about it too. Like, damn, a horse? Really?
Yeah. Like homeboy said, they said Kyrie got to come over and make their kids some sandwiches. That's how I felt when I saw that list of demands. That's why I was like, no, I ain't doing it.
Bro.
I was legit on some. I'm not doing that shit. For real. And I'm one of the people that I do err on the side of do what you have to do in the moment to get the money. Once you got that money and then you separate from it, let's just say, NBA career over, or let's just say at the end of his NBA career. Let's just say if you in the last year of playing in the NBA, you done made all that money, and now you're like a president in your last year. You're gonna be out of office before they can impeach you. You know what I mean? So then do what you want to do and use that money, power, and influence. Like me, I think I forgot who I was talking to about. Hell, it might have been you. Or no, I don't know. Maybe you or Sub-Zero or Nate or something. I forgot who. But I was like, all that money he got fined. If he really wanted to, if he was really thinking, instead of sharing that Hebrews and Negroes documentary, all that money he got fined total up to damn near $500,000. I'm not talking about the money they said he had to pay to Jewish leaders. I'm talking about Doc's 5 games of pay. That ran him about $500,000. Just Doc's the 5 games of pay, maybe more. I'm like, dude, you could have took that money and took it to the people who made that took it to the people that made that documentary, you know, and because Candace Owens about to say it when we get back to the Candace Owens clip, where she said it basically looked like a PowerPoint slideshow. Everybody I know who saw the documentary said it was just a real low budget, shitty documentary. Like Kyrie, you could have took that 500,000 to $1 million you lost in that suspension, and gave that money to them so they can make a badass documentary where they could be on site in Israel and all kind of shit. You know, I mean, you could have you could have did so much with that. So I'm about getting that bag, but be strategic with the bag after you get it. But at the same time, I ain't about to go over there and make y'all kids no damn sandwiches either. I ain't about to go over there and give y'all kids, you know, little horsey back rides and shit. Like that's what.
Nah, that list of demands is wild though. When they were like, really, just even all jokes aside, bro, they want you to go to like some kind of re-education training program, right? And not just like general nice stuff, not just, you know, let's just be a regular good person. No. I want you to go to a camp to learn how to respect me. All right, you see me, I got this thing going on, right? And you disrespected my thing. And so now we're gonna send you to a training camp so you can learn how to properly respect me. Like, but think about the depth of that. Like that got so many layers of I'm not fucking with y'all no more.
Yeah. Yeah, all day. All goddamn day. All right. Where we at? Let's go. Let's roll some more what Candace Owens talking about.
Saying I can't be anti-Semitic. Why is he saying that a couple of breaths after he talks about the Oxford?
Oh, and real quick. Shout out to Houston in the building with a $10. Wait. I'm confused. Is your name Houston $10? But then why does it say $5? Oh, the message is okay. You threw me off with that one bad. Why do we got 5.00 for his message? That made
I'm
me
not
think
sure what that's about.
That made me think it was a $5 super chat, but then it's like, no, they put the money next to the name. So I'm like, you threw me off bad with that one. You threw me off real bad with that one. Congratulations. That was smart, whatever you just did to me. But thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. All right, let's get back to it. I'm gonna back it up just like 5 seconds because she was talking about why he said he can't be anti-Semitic.
Clarifies that he's not anti-Semitic. Now, why is Kyrie Irving saying that? Why is he saying I can't be anti-Semitic? Why is he saying that a couple of breaths after he talks about the Oxford Dictionary? So here is the definition of Semitic straight from the Oxford Dictionary. It's relating to or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. The second definition listed is relating to the people who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic. So clearly what Kyrie Irving is saying based on that definition is that he believes that he is Semitic, that he hails from maybe Africa or from Asia, which is what the documentary explores. I'm going to.
All right. There it is. So what's your wrap up closing thoughts, so to speak, on what she's talking about there? Basically saying that Kyrie is essentially saying that based off my understanding of it, my understanding of definitions and words and this or that or blah blah blah, I can't be anti-Semitic because I am Semitic.
Yo, this reminds me of like you remember when Denzel played Malcolm X, the whole Malcolm X movie, Spike Lee directed and produced, I guess.
Oh yeah.
There was a part in there where he like started reading the Bible and then reading the dictionary. Like he was in jail, and it was totally a whole jail cliche at the same time too. But he went to jail and started learning the dictionary and the Bible, and it's like all of a sudden you learn what the words actually mean, and you become a different person. And it's wild how you're not allowed to use the words as they are printed in the books that you gave me to read about the words.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really weird game, and like I said, it's only because it's because he's black. Right? So because I'm black, I'm not allowed. Like I said, bro, nothing says white supremacy like you niggas can't sit here, bro. That's when people talk about white supremacy and you get on me about, you never see systemic racism, and no, I don't. I'm focused on other shit, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but it's the lines are getting drawn on not drawn, I guess blurred, because there's black people complaining about racism, of which a lot of it that we ain't with it. I ain't with it. I think a lot of it is victim narrative. I posted a video about Tyrese doing stupid shit, going to vote wearing a Stacey Abrams hoodie, which you're not allowed to do, especially when you're a celebrity with 1 million followers. And he got asked to leave or just go take the hoodie off and then come back and vote. And then he did a stream about how he wasn't allowed to vote. And I'm like, dude, you're doing stupid shit to get put out and then complain about getting put out. I say a lot of times black people be operating in a way to where the supply of racism is not meeting the demand of racism. That's how a lot of black people be operating. But then but when you look at those that you call the not whites, the small hats, it's like all on the internet, all this talk about white supremacy this, white supremacy that, and a lot of that a lot of it to me do be bogus. A lot of it to me do be bogus, but it's getting in a place. It's getting in a place that when you apply those same, when you apply a lot of that logic, to, as you call the not whites, would you say it's converting you over to the point to where like, now hood conservative believe in some not white supremacy?
Bro, I'm not even gonna start to walk you down the rabbit hole. If I told you the things I know, you'd have a lot more gray hairs. I mean, it's such a scary path to consider all these things that start to pop up when you research this one subject, right? Look, this is one major thing. We're gonna go back to this whole thing of the Holocaust deniers, right? Why is that something of all the subjects in the world you are allowed to go on national television and burn a flag? You can take a cross and stick it in a jar of urine and feces and call it artwork. But if you dare say, you know what, I don't believe that this thing happened the way you say it happened, people will come at you. People will try to ruin your life. You are not allowed to exist in polite society. It is almost as if you are being forced to believe one people's story. And when you start to think about it that way, it's like, wow, that would imply a level of power and organization that is essentially fantastical, as you said earlier.
Yeah, but people typically just apply that to white. Now, maybe some people don't make a distinction between white and Jewish, and I know I didn't at first. That's probably what it is.
It's a trick. It's a trick, I believe. Well, maybe trick is not the right word. It is. I don't know what to call it, but it is an intentional haze. It's like you're not supposed to see clearly.
Yeah. Understood. All right, let's now let's look at this here. Let me move that down. Actually, I'm gonna change that altogether. But we got Louis Farrakhan on here now. What's the genesis of why you wanted to put Louis Farrakhan? And shout out to him. Shout out to Louis Farrakhan. All right, he
honestly,
he's spitting on this.
Yeah. Honestly, I just kind of wanted because we were talking about Kanye and his little spat with Farrakhan, so I felt it would be fair to at least throw the minister up there for a second.
All right, cool.
Because like you said, he was spitting.
Yeah. All right, let me know at any point you're trying to stop it.
that is anti-Semitic. And he kept telling you, and he's for saying something that is anti-Semitic. And he kept telling you, I can't be anti myself. You didn't want to hear that. You know you came from us. You know that you are not the father of humanity. We know our history and we know yours. We don't like what you're doing to Kyrie or to Ye. And when we see how you want to break him, destroy him, to keep him from saying anything that might enlighten our people. Do you know when you mess up his mind like that, he can't play? I saw the man playing ball the other day and he missed every shot, almost. He can't play with his mind in that state. And when his brother, Kevin Durant, said, I don't like none of this. He's not saying he don't like the movie. He's not liking what you're doing to a man who wasn't doing nothing against you, but searching for greater knowledge. And you decided to break him. You decided to put fear into men.
Yeah.
Like that whole public breaking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where's Tariq Nasheed? I hope you're doing another documentary, right? I hope you're taking notes for your next buck breaking.
No, come on,
No, because I'm not gonna go down to the graphic definition of buck breaking. I'm not trying to make any weird sexual innuendo. I mean, you know, it speaks for itself, obviously. But aside from that, is this not exactly what you've been describing of you take a black man and you hold him up in front of everybody and you break him so everybody can see? Charleston White just had he had a clip that Kanye retweeted where you take the slave in front of other slaves and you whoop them and you whoop them and you whoop them and you whoop them. What is that not what the fuck y'all been telling me white people do to us? And now we watching it happen. And you know, white supremacy, though, you know, we got to fight white supremacy. You know, y'all want me to think what happened to George Floyd is white supremacy. No, what happened to George Floyd is fucked up. But I don't think that compares to this on any level. This is magnitudes greater. This is white supremacy on a level that'll destroy your family, your nation, your lineage. I'm done.
Oh, hold on. I was trying to doctor something up in the back. Okay, but now this is where it gets confusing. When it gets confusing when you say this is white supremacy on a whole nother level, but you're throwing me off because you don't call it white supremacy. You call it something like so.
I know. It's a language trick. So you know.
I know, but you're throwing me off with the language trick.
No, because we are comfortable using the term. Not we, obviously, but the term white supremacy is thrown around so casually, and I'm simply throwing it back at people in a way that I am more comfortable with, even though I consider it not white.
Yeah. Now, would you say, okay, so the pro-blacks on the internet, they're definitely, you know, they definitely, you know, calling this out. I mean, but I mean, they call heads every time. So of course they're gonna call this outright. The people who you're really targeting that at are really like the Al Sharptons. You know, those are the ones who call out everything else as white supremacy, but will stay silent on this. You know, those are the ones, the Mark Lamont Hills, the ones who will call everything out. They will look under every rock, stone, anything they'll flip every mattress to try to find some racism to complain about. But they'll be silent on this.
it's very deep. It's very deep, and oh God, I don't even know how to make this connection without sounding really, really bizarre. But it's just a weird connection. All right, we, not we, the black, what you call like the black grievance industry, like the guys you just named, the black people who kind of exist to complain about white supremacy, they have, they are also allied with the not whites heavily. What's her name? I actually have a picture of this I put up on my stream from time to time. Alicia Garza herself is actually of the tribe. A founding member of BLM is of the tribe, and so there's a relationship there. And
When you say
what
of
I
the
think,
tribe, what do you mean?
I mean, she is born into the family. Alicia Garza, yes, she's
Born
like
into what family? I'm missing something.
she's Jewish.
One of the founders of BLM.
Yes. So there are relationships with a lot of black people and a lot of Jewish people that go back generations and like with the civil rights movement. And so there's a lot of like influence, I guess is the right word, influence, but all the influence goes in one direction, where essentially like how do I put this, we have become their weapon. That's why we are allowed to go on television and say whatever you want about white people, but none of the true things about them, no matter what they do to you. What's the phrase I can use? Weaponized blackness. Who weaponized your blackness? Who told you to go out and march? Who told you to tear this system down? Who told you to read that little red book?
Damn.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And LeBron James and other black men who had become rich and powerful. You wanted to say, you were saying to them as you were lynching Kyrie, you all better get the point. You all better get the message. They don't want you rising up into that knowledge that will make you a real man and not a glorified punk.
All right. Yeah. Shout out to Louis Farrakhan. He called that out quite well. Give me a second. I'm fumbling. I'm fumbling here, trying to get the next thing ready to go. But now we got to talk about the change up that's taking place. I alluded to it earlier, but now there's like a late in the game change up taking place. I believe the next thing we've got to talk about is Shannon Sharp, who had all this this clip I'm about to play. The amount of passion, fire, and brimstone, a sermon that's about to come out of his mouth. It was a completely different thing. And shout out to Self Talk. He do a real good job. He played like the before and after of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's initial reaction and then Stephen A. Smith's current reaction. He did a good job playing them both, in conjunction with each other. And it's interesting. It's interesting for this reason. Because there was clearly a change up somewhere. There was clearly a change up that took place for some reason. Now, some people have speculated that they're still puppets. They just got on code to say, not got on code. They're still puppets. It's just they were permitted to speak against it, but I don't know about all that. But I tend to believe that that the groundswell of people, on the internet, on social media, platforms like mine and so many others that are going way harder than me on this. I got other stuff I talk about too. But there's some channels that just dedicated a whole channel to just only talking about this. and it's everywhere. Like you said, your views, you get a bump in views when you talk about this as it's been trending lately. And I think that groundswell from the people, on the ground has made it to where it's no longer a safe position or acceptable, intellectually tenable position to go that route, to where they're going to basically, criticize Kyrie Irving in all of this. And so I think that's more or less what's happening. And that's more or less why we're seeing a slow and subtle, well, I won't even say slow and subtle, an abrupt change up when people like Shannon Sharp, who ultimately changed his tune, Do you want to say anything, set it up before we play ball on this one?
No, I forgot how this even starts, so let's just jump into
it. All right, yeah, let's just dive right into it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Our feelings. Nothing more than feelings, bro. Oh my God, they need to protect our feelings. Their feelings too. Everybody's feelings. And it's weird.
That's how the Jews they spin it as if they're offended. That's how it's coming off. So it's basically this is all kind of masquerading as an attempt to protect their feelings of being offended. That's how it's coming off. So I think that's why he said, well, black people's feelings need to be protected too. But I think on their end, I think the Jewish elite is protecting something else. They're basically trying to protect. They're playing. And shout out to Black Gen Z Mindset, because he said this on my show, that they're pretending to be just grand in this grand amount of offended our feelings. You hurt our feelings, but really what they just don't want is people to just put a spotlight on the fact that they are what they are, and they own everything and run everything and got their money and everything, got influence on everything, and could cancel anybody at any time. They don't want people to know that the Jewish elite is actually the person behind the curtain, so to speak. So that's why they do that's offensive. You shouldn't have said that. That's anti-Semitic, But overall, I do understand. I mean, it was some bullshit. It was a slight, but he's talking about it like it's a feelings versus feelings battle. That's what he tried to throw out there. But go ahead.
No, it's like you said, a masquerade, and this is a weird thing. And when you talk about the media and the structure of ownership and all that, why is it that you never hear white people allowed to be offended? You're not allowed. It's so funny to watch it. I don't know, is he Jewish or whatever? I don't know, but like, generally speaking, white people have to take a lot of shit in the media, and nobody gives a fuck about their feelings. Like, white people's feelings are the last thing to be protected, but those guys, I'll make you lose everything if you make me cry. If you offend me, I will take away everything you've ever loved. And that's why I laugh at this whole thing of like, is it really white supremacy? Like, apparently, like, the white guy's like, oh, well, say what you want about me. It's okay. I'm just going to go to work, drive my little car. It's cool. But you say anything about that guy, bro, you won't have a car. You won't have a job. You might not even have a family. You're going to come home, your woman going to be like, why are you talking about them people?
John 81101. I see your super chat. I ain't going, but I click on it and acknowledge you. Thank you for sending the super chat. I don't know nothing about that. I mean, I ask you seriously. I don't. I've never heard of that.
Okay. All right. Not only did that happen, her name was Mary Fagan. The guy was like a big guy. He was somebody. He wasn't just a nobody. He wasn't a schmuck. He was a somebody. And apparently, after the verdict came back, I think there was a little bit of community justice. And anyway, long story short, the ADL was formed, The ADL was formed after that event specifically to defend people who get caught up in trouble, as they say. You know, sometimes a guy just gets in trouble with a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes when people get in trouble, you know, they need protection. And so this group, this organization was formed in that you know, spirit to protect guys, you know, when they get in trouble. And it turns out they say he didn't do it. It wasn't him. You got the wrong man. It was a black guy. I shit you not. They turned it out and said it was a black guy who did it, bro. I swear on everything. And then, I mean, bro, this is what we're dealing with. It's such a bizarre reality compared to what we think we know.
Mm. All right, let's roll some more of this. Well, hold on, wait. What do you think about this? All right, Shannon was saying a lot of things that I think he was on point. He was talking about the punishment being obsessive. We're talking about, you know, basically the list of demands and all that is some bullshit and everything. But when he said he agreed that Kyrie was wrong, and I saw a lot of people in the chat saying wrong about what? Okay. To any extent, and it's kind of hard for you to answer because it's hard for me to answer because I haven't seen the documentary. Some people say it denied the Holocaust. Some people say no, it didn't actually say that. You know, so there's a such thing as something, you know, having a degree of hate speech in it to where if you represent an organization, you can't be posting or sharing that because then now that reflects on the organization that you're a public figure for. I can follow the bouncing ball on that. But if all it did is if it was just a documentary where somebody laid out history and gave their opinion and perspective on it, then it's like, okay, what was he wrong about? So it's probably hard for you to really explain whether or not you think he was wrong about anything unless you truly saw the documentary. But go ahead. What's your thoughts on that with Shannon, even though he's speaking up for Kyrie, but still simultaneously saying he was wrong?
Yeah, it's a like a tooth. What do you call it? Speaking out of both sides of your mouth kind of deal, which I don't really appreciate. I mean, I'm glad that he got, you know, he came this far to even say it was wrong. You know how hard it is to stand up to your master. Like I can respect that from you know, a guy who's been on his knees this whole time. You finally you got one leg, you got up the one knee, and you're almost standing up. And so I respect that's progress. That's progress. You halfway stood up to your master. So I'm not going to criticize him too hard.
But hold on, Skip. You know, always is talking about race issues and going in and finding, you know, talking about, you know, when something happened to a black person, they figure out every chance they get to circle, you know, sports back to social or political stuff as it pertains to race and black people in America. Skip is always fighting that good fight. Well, I'm married to a white woman, mind you, but he's always fighting that good fight. So in that sense, how do you say somebody who never stood up to their master? Yeah, you can't pin that on him. This is where the lines get weird. Like we said, it's almost like you're saying
no. You misunderstand me. Black people are supposed to attack white people. That's your job.
We do it. Okay, see that now that's what you're saying. They enlisted us as the special ops unit to do that, so they won't have to.
The dark forces, my nigga. The dark forces.
The Small has enlisted us as these special operatives to say about white folks.
Ninja warriors, bro. Ninja warriors in the media come to attack and tear down the system. Don't all these niggas talk about replacing the system? You want to tear the system down? Yes, yeah. Ninja warriors, go.
Oh man. Shout out. There's a number of things I'm seeing going on in the chat room. I see JB down there. I'm gonna read your comment pretty soon. It looked like it was interesting. I skimmed it, but didn't fully read it. But hold on. Captain Cisco in the building says, show the clips of the Israelite guy on the street making the white woman and white man cry. That was funny. I don't have that one. I don't know. Hood Service might have it. I wouldn't put that past him. I wouldn't put that past you to have that one right on
Nah,
speed dial. But
nah, I don't know that one.
wait, hold on. Where okay, shit. Where was it at? Where was trying to find something JB said. He says the more small hats work collectively to systemically cancel folks who critique their community's power, the more they actually prove the narrative to be correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. By doing what they did to cancel Kanye and fuck up his money, and they got Kyrie Irving gotta go give you know gotta go give their kids a horsey back ride, you know, and make sandwiches and for the kids and wash and wash their cars and so whatever was on that list of demands.
Horsey back rides.
once, you know, once they got Kyrie doing that, then it's like yeah. But Jonathan Barreville in the building says a little big Nate show. It's almost like they don't realize the irony of how they move. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, we've been on that. But all right, let's roll. So I think we got we got a lot more of this clip to play.
Protection. Okay.
Go ahead.
Candace Owens just dropped the George Floyd documentary, which, you know, they would like you to believe the narrative, right? You're not allowed to question the narrative. And it's even in black, just casually in black America, if you know, don't think George Floyd was murdered by evil racist policemen, people think something's wrong with you. But like, it's this whole issue of being able to question the narrative that's the problem. People don't want you to question certain narratives. There are narratives that you're allowed to make fun of and have your way with, but there are other narratives that's like, no, you must believe this. Believe it exactly how I tell you to believe it, and don't believe anything else. That's weird, bro.
Yeah, but from to me, I highlight a different issue and maybe a bigger issue in the midst of this. That again, that it crosses some weird battle lines in the whole positioning with this when we're looking at the small hats and whatnot and everything. Once we examine what Skip said, because this is a part of where because Skip he floated in some bullshit, but this is the part that he said that I thought was absolutely true. Even if we go to the damn A list, well, hold on. I'll respond real quickly to what you said about Candace Owens making that Black Lives Matter documentary. If trying to think, if Laura Ingraham made that documentary, I don't think it would get off the ground.
Perfect point Skip just made, isn't it? Though, Isn't that exactly the point Skip just made? And that is exactly the problem, because the issue isn't who asked the question, right? It's more of like, can we even talk about the truth?
But Candace Owens can only make that documentary. Candace Owens or Larry Elder, they're the only ones that can make that documentary.
Right. And then they're not exactly welcome in their community, are they?
Right. So let's okay. That's so we agree on that. Now let's go one step further and speak to what Skip was talking about. If that documentary about Black Lives Matter was made by Laura Ingraham, a white conservative woman, if that was made by Laura Ingraham and Tom Brady shared it, just like Kyrie shared the Hebrew to Negroes. Whew, now I went too high up on the A list because Tom Brady is hard to get. That's white Jesus. Everybody love Tom Brady. I got to find somebody else. I got to find a white guy that's liked but not that much, because I think they're sweeping under the rug if Tom Brady shared that shit. But there's a such thing as there's some truth in what Skip Bayless is saying. If there was a documentary that was viewed heavily, full blown, absolutely anti-black and absolutely 100% racist, and a white athlete shared it, I think he's going to get perp walked viciously through social media, absolute media, and ultimately get canceled for the outright racism of it. I think he'll get canceled every bit as hard as what they came at Kyrie. I think that part is true. What say you?
I don't think I would argue that part. I mean, I'm not going to fight you on that one. I think for me, the biggest problem is back to this issue of what what's actually allowed to be discussed in general as truth, right? Because
Mhm.
there are some things that no people are allowed to mess with. So I think a more triggering example would probably be something like this, right? Is what if Donald Trump kept
Okay.
dropping tweets about like links to every black slave owner.
Black slave owners, they don't got links. You could, I mean, okay, links about their
You know, well,
links to
you could drop
documentaries and
links. Yes, yes, you could link to all kind of. I forget all their names, but like there are a bunch of names. Some famous, some relatively famous, and some just somebody bought somebody one time. Like not like a whole big operation, but you can theoretically pull up like oodles of records, I mean, oodles and oodles of records about transactions and whatnot. And so, like, would that be racist for Donald Trump to just be fascinated about how many black people bought and sold black people during the height of American slavery?
um, you talking about black
No,
slave
no. See,
owners?
look. Paco Morris says slavery and religion is not equal, and I actually challenge that. Slavery is a religious token in black culture. Slavery, we treat slavery with a religious sanctity, and that's exactly why I went there.
Mm.
You're not allowed to question black slavery, are you? It must be the way it was told to you.
Wait, is that
Isn't
Paco
that?
the pillow biter, or is that another Paco?
I don't know anything about pillows and bites, but
No, I
who is
think
this
that's another,
pillow biting
that's a different
Paco?
Paco. Sorry, Paco Morris. There's another Paco that came through here.
Totally left field, bro.
There's another Paco that came through here well over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I thought he came back,
Yeah.
but anyway, I don't think that's him. Okay, cool. But
No, but
you
my
got
point
a
was
good
that
point.
it's kind of a
Hold on,
religious
but
thing.
the reason you came up with such a genius example, because there's a certain level of subtlety of, hey, I just posted it. Why is everybody tripping? if he just posted about the black slave owners that never get discussed. They never get discussed. And so if he just posted that, like, I just
He'd be like,
reading.
famous black heroes of mine.
See, that's what it'll look like, but no, it's just educational. I just, I learned of some things. I read some things. I watched a documentary. I read a book or two, and apparently there was a black slave. The TV show Underground that came out recently. It's an older one called Underground, but it's a more recent one that got canceled after the second season. Was real good. It was a black slave owner in there. Well, I think he may have been half white, but but he was black. I think he was like he was like a black damn near overseer. No, he was no doubt a slave, but he was a black slave that kept the other slaves in line. But when it came time for the slaves to try to run and get to their freedom or whatever, it's called Underground Railroad. He ran with them, and they was like, "What? Like, nigga, you with us?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, fuck them." So he escaped with them, and fast forward some years later, they were hearing rumors of some black slave owner some slave owner who was like the most brutal slave owner in the around. Like he ran a horrendous a very very efficient plantation, but it was he had brutal tactics, I guess. And then they found out that when they finally met him, it was the slave that they ran away with. Like this slave, he basically became a slave owner.
Based on a true story.
I don't know if it was based on a true. I don't know if that part was. I'm sure that happened.
No, yeah, that's what I literally mean, though. That you can find historical reference to that kind of thing. Like I said, I forget the guy's name, but there was a one black slave owner who was not just an owner, like plantation, cotton, and all that. Like he was a breeder. Like you talk about buck breaking, like he was in the business. He knew fully well how to break a buck. You know what I mean? And he was known. He had the local reputation of being probably the worst. The hardest slave owning man in the region. Like, he was known at the time. It wasn't something that happened later on. It was like, nah, they knew during the day, like, don't sell nobody to him. And it is just this thing of like, you remember in Django, Jamie Foxx said something I'll never forget in Django. Once he got into that role of being like I guess like he was what was the dentist guy name? He was playing sort of like his black eyes and ears about how to buy a fighting slave. And so he was known as a black slaver. And before he got into that role, he says to the white guy, I forget Schultz, he says to Schultz, he's like, ain't nothing lower than a black slaver. And Schultz says to him, that's exactly the role I need you to play. And so now later on, a few scenes, they're walking back to Candyland, and one of the slaves, and as you keep seeing this one slave through the movie, one of the slaves, he looks at Django, and Django looks at him from up on the horse and is like, you got a problem? Why you eyeballing me? You won't lose your teeth? Something like that. He threatened him, straight up, overseered him. And then he rolled up and was like, I'll teach you niggas one thing. You're going to learn about me. I'm way worse than any of these white men around here. And so next thing you see is a dude getting ripped apart by a dog. So apparently Jamie Foxx is even worse than that. Like, that's the image he's trying to give off, right? And then it was a reality for me. I was like, you know what? That probably is exactly how it went. Like imagine, because you could have wound up in that time as a black person. You could have been on the other side of the whip. Very easily, you could have found yourself. I mean, you'd have been lucky, but you could have been on the other side of the whip, and you better be harder than the white man because you got to maintain your position. I need this job.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. It does speak like if you're white and you got that job, you pretty much got job security. If you're black and you got that job, your job security in question. So you got to work 10 times harder, and by work 10 times harder, that means basically being the most brutal overseer imaginable. So they're like, hey, he's black and everything, but he does such a good job, we can't afford to let him go. It's like, so.
Hey, no. Here's another side of it, right? And people joke about this nowadays. Imagine how it had to be back then. Black people don't want to listen to black people now. Could you imagine owning niggas back then? You ain't even a white man. What the hell I'm listening to you for? Pick what cotton, nigga? And then you get whipped. I could totally see that going down. Like, bro, we gotta write this show. We be joking about this on my channel all the time. We need to do a period piece drama about the inner workings of a black-owned plantation and all the black-on-black shenanigans that had to happen when black people own black people.
Wait, no. You don't call it a black-owned plantation like just a black-owned business.
It was. Some of the original black-owned businesses in this goddamn country were plantations. All right, that was some of the original rich niggas. Nobody want to talk about that. See what I'm saying? We went down this whole rabbit hole because I brought up the fact that there are truths you're not allowed to play around with. You're not allowed to talk about this kind of stuff. But that's a real thing. Some of the earliest rich black people got rich because they owned, well, not because, but they were slave owners. They started a business, all right? No different than Bill Gates or who's a rich black guy? Who's the guy that gave all that money to the college kids, like Morehouse or something like that? No different from that guy. Right. He was a man who he saw an opportunity and he took his opportunity and he succeeded. Those were the rich black men of the day, but like they were bad people.
Yes, they were. All right. Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, says this is not new. Jesse Jackson Farrakhan and the leader of the Black Israelites from New York was also shut down too. Thank you for the super chat, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Y'all make sure y'all go and support Uncle Stu. Subscribe to that, brother. Make sure you go and subscribe to Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. And also, I'm pretty sure RM. Shout out to RM. Do appreciate you very much. I'm pretty sure she's been dropping Hood Servatives link in the chat room. For those of you, a few people here at this point that ain't subscribed to Hood Servative, make sure you go over and subscribe to Hood Servative. I do know I am seeing new faces in here. I am seeing some new faces in here periodically. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to Hood Servative. Hopefully RM is about to drop the link to Hood Servative's channel in the chat room. But yeah. Interesting stuff. You just messed my head up,
I know, total
black owned
my
plantation bad. as a small black business startup, we trying to we're really trying to get our plantation off the ground, but it's just so much red tape and
nah, and then the slaves, he keep getting the girls pregnant and she can't work no more. Like, what do? Your field slave keep getting a house slave pregnant. It's like it's really just more mouths to feed. I mean, I guess I gotta sell them. Like, oh god, it's so dark, but it's hilarious too.
Yeah, it's like those were the original uppity Negroes. They were good night, man.
You see how uncomfortable it is? Yeah, but this is us, bro. Why can't we talk about that? Why does it always have to be the white man was whipping our asses, bro? That's why I really kind of I laugh about this kind of shit, because other than this, which is totally like I have to find this type of thing and then like, oh wow, that is ironic. Because without that, it's just the white man been whipping our ass for 400 years. 400 years. You see that clip?
I heard somebody talking about the percentages of black slave owners. I mean, yeah, and it was pretty uncomfortable. I forgot. I gotta look it up and find it. It was more than what you would expect, suspect, or think.
Was it? So if the percentage of black slave owners was a little bit higher than you are comfortable with, then I have to ask you another uncomfortable question. Let's really drop our blackness for a minute. I'm about to coon hard. Did the Civil War destroy black wealth? All right, I'm done. I'll never come back to the cookout. I get it. Yeah, I know. Facepalm. Did the Civil War destroy black wealth? Look, Acadia in the chat. 80% of black slave owners were in Louisiana. I'm just saying. What was there a mass of black wealth that actually just got wiped out because white guys couldn't get along?
Hopefully, the black slave owners transitioned their plantation over from a slave owning plantation to just basically sharecropping, where they the people formerly known as slaves still kind of stayed on the plant on the grounds and they got paid. I think that's how a lot of people argue that's how slavery low-key was going on long after the Civil War through sharecropping. It was still niggas living on the plantation picking cotton all the same. So yeah. Hopefully they kept the business going and just got rid of the whips and paid and paid their relatives. Okay, that's even more fucked up because a lot of them was enslaving. A lot of them did enslave, and this was actually noble. Let me just put complete serious face. This was actually a noble thing to do. Mm-hmm. If you were black and you got your freedom and you own some land, buy slaves, buy your family members, so that way they're not under the rule of nobody else. You technically own them, and then they essentially work for you, and they essentially become like your not slave, but they essentially become your live-in relative who helps keep the lights on.
I'm telling you, bro, you don't want to know.
Hopefully it worked out like that.
You don't want to know how. Listen, bro, as crazy as we are now, we were that version of crazy for that time, right? Imagine we just got off the plantation, so it's not like we had years of civilization to fall back on for wisdom and knowledge and shit. But the point I kind of want you to understand is that we are told, and it's probably by the same pro-blacks who are uncomfortable with this knowledge, we are told that, yeah, no, black people just bought their cousins and their brothers and sisters because, you know, it was the black thing. You got to free your people. But I have read the stories where husbands have bought and sold their wives because she wasn't shit. And wives have bought and sold their husbands because that nigga just wouldn't do right. Fathers have bought and sold their sons and vice versa because why not? Like, bro, it's humanity never stops being humanity. We are always fucked up. And this is across the board, people just being people. So when you get into what actually happened in the narratives that you can read out, like the historical narratives, bro, oh my God, it's not the noble. We were not the noble victims that the history books like to portray us as.
All right, goddamn, we veered way off of whatever the hell Skip was sitting here talking
totally,
about.
Yeah, forgot.
Let's go ahead and finish the clip. But goddamn,
and he would be done
after what President Trump has said about the American Jews versus the Israeli Jews and what he's tweeted and what he's posted, and he ain't got canceled yet.
Wait, hold on, time out. Yeah, I'll be remiss if I don't do this. Evil Wabbit podcast, the Evil Wabbit podcast. Is that Trey?
Yeah, that's Trey.
Okay, yeah, Trey, by all means, send me some links to that. You said 10,000 black slave owners on the 1830 census. I think Trey is like the resident expert on black slave owners. So,
yeah, he's got a little bit more knowledge on it than I do. But I'm telling you, it's such a funny thing to consider. Because we think we know the history of black slavery, and it's always, you know, we getting our asses whipped. But nah, there was a handful of dudes balling like crazy.
Yeah, Trey, send me links on that one, man. Just email me some links, Trey. All right. No, that's funny.
Calling him out.
Skip calling him out on the switch up. He calling him up on that switch up. Calling him out.
Real shit. You look crazy, Shannon. You look real crazy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like Skip is like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Did the black delegation get together and decide that y'all gonna ride hard for Kyrie now all of a sudden? Because that ain't what you was doing.
Well, I think this is what happened. I think this is what happened, and this is something why I always like. I get it, bro, and I know it's hard for people. There's a famous quote like, "You can't expect a man to speak against something that pays his bills." I'm totally mangling the quote, but that's the idea at play here, right? So I understand that, you know, you're fully invested in this thing, right? Your career, your personality, your image, you're fully invested into this thing. However, that list of demands isn't just about Kyrie. And this is the title of a stream I did, you know, first Kanye, then Kyrie. What black man did they come after next? And so now a lot of these black dudes in the media are looking like, all right, so how much can I actually say before they come and castrate me? And so y'all should be afraid. Y'all should look at this and worry. You should be questioning whether or not you have any real security, or are you just a good soldier?
That's where Skip get on some bullshit. And then that reeks of that the last demand, you know, where they said he needs to meet with Josiah and demonstrate an understanding. That's what I kept asking. How do you demonstrate an understanding? Like Skip is asking, how do we really know that he doesn't have it in his heart? Like,
you never saw South Park?
Fucking know that.
No, bro. Yeah, have you watched South Park with Jesse Jackson and Randy's? What was the guy? Yeah, it was Randy. He had to apologize to Jesse Jackson, and Jesse Jackson. I forget exactly the whole bit, but basically Randy did something that got him in racial trouble with black people, NAACP. And
was that when Randy Jackson was on Wheel of Fortune, and they said people that get on your nerves, and the only letter it was naggers, but the only letter. He had to solve the puzzle. Hold on, we might have to play that because that's so classic.
That was a beautiful episode. I love South Park for that.
Hold on, I'm about to be quick with the trigger and pull that up. Hold on, I'm gonna type in South Park naggers. and I know it's gonna be on deck. Maybe a 1 minute clip. All right, yep, here it go. We got to play that classic. You shouldn't have brought it up. We got to play this classic.
It's so perfect though for the time we're in. South Park has been prophetic with this type of stuff, but like this is exactly the thing they want Kyrie to do right now. But in reverse though, this is why I call it like it's just a weird. You guys who talk about white supremacy, I mean, aren't you feeling like your little white supremacy radar go off right now? Not a ping, not nothing.
Yeah, it's like the Jesse Jacksons. I don't know why they silent on this. I don't know why the Mark Lamont Hills are silent on this. I don't know. Oh, hold on, wait.
All right, Randy, congratulations on making it all the way to the bonus round.
Thanks, Pat.
You've got some family here watching tonight.
Yeah, they're all rooting for me.
And I'm sure you have lots of friends watching back home.
Yeah. Hi, everybody watching in South Park.
That's us.
Hey,
Randy.
That's us. Hey, Randy.
Hey, good luck. Well, let's see if you can't make everyone proud. The category is people who annoy you.
Okay.
As always, we give you the letters R, T, S, L, and E. We just need 3 more consonants and a vowel.
Okay, I'd like a B, an N, and a G.
And the vowel?
An O, please.
Okay, well, looks like you're going to get a lot of help here. Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet, please.
At this point, everybody knows. We just know.
Well,
10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds,
I love
Mr. Marsh.
white people for this,
I'd like
by
to
the
solve
way.
the puzzle.
He didn't want to do
Niggers.
it. He didn't want to do it. You made him do it.
Huh?
It's like,
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, naggers, of course. Naggers.
I don't know why it was funny that when she turned it, it's like you never can hear the noise when you turn the letter, but you can hear like a little, like a door hinge squeak. Like it was so silent in there.
bro, like you can hear a pin drop.
Listen.
Oh.
Ooh.
Cuz
Oh, naggers,
the whole room,
of course. Naggers. Right.
the whole room knew they were about to get
Can
protested.
we cut to a...
Yeah, man. South Park is the shit.
Now hold up. Share my screen real quick. Because I just want to show you, the Kyrie Irving apology scene here. This is what they want from Kyrie.
Okay,
Sure,
hold
Mr.
on.
Marsh apologizing. Ready to go, sir. Kiss it. Huh? Apologize. Kiss it. You want me to kiss your... That's right. Apologize.
That's what they want your boy to do. That's exactly it. And so I know Shannon Sharp. Somebody sent Shannon Sharp this clip. I know Charles Barkley got this clip. I know Shaq, somebody sending y'all this clip. It's gonna be you one day. It probably was you one day. You probably had to do this same thing. They called you into this office. It was all dark. It was probably lit by candles and shit. And they made you apologize. And then they took pictures of it so you could never say it never happened.
Okay. I'll see here. Apologize.
Bruh. Come on. They trying to do this to Kyrie. So, like, I think all the guys up there in the media who've been kind of acting like he was the bad guy and he did something so horrible. First they came for Kanye and he said nothing. And this is such a bizarre retelling of the quote. Because, first the ADL came for Kanye and you said nothing. Then the ADL came for Kyrie and he said nothing. And then when the ADL came for you, there was nobody left to speak for you.
Yeah, man. It's wild. All right, the last thing we got to play here is from Kyrie himself. And I honestly barely remember what the hell he said here. So this is gonna be new for me. But
Why I'm speaking like this because
hold on, let me rewind it, retract to the
into
beginning.
the older generation, we can't have this. We do.
Yeah, I don't know if it's anything you want to set up before we play this one, because I don't even remember what he said here.
No, I listened to some of this. This is just sort of Kyrie giving some random thoughts here, but it kind of he's explaining his version of things, so I think it sort of enlightens the whole story.
Yeah. Speaking of those random thoughts, I guess that's kind of what I don't like about Kyrie and Kanye in this situation. It's like they speak in like a disconnected stream of consciousness to where they're making some points, but they're not making a point, or there's so many open doors and avenues for somebody to pick apart or scrutinize or criticize or miss the point on what they're saying. It's like, okay, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's like they're making points all over the place.
We do. I'm not putting my kids through this system that's designed to distract and demean and destroy character based on race, culture, class. I'm a native and I'm a black man or African man. I had to identify that because that's what was given to me in this Euro-centralized society. I had to identify as a race. I had to identify as a culture. I have to identify what my religion is. But the reason why I'm speaking like this is because to my generation and to the older generation, we can't have this. That's enough talking. We can't have this. And I'm called crazy trying to grow up in this Eurocentric society or this society that holds white supremacy over the top of everything, which was created by them. I never created it. How can I be sane in a society that calls me crazy for trying to live a moral, just life, a principle-led life? I didn't grow up seeing color. I didn't grow up seeing, religion and culture, bro. It was taught to me. It was taught to me. I grew up in school with this stuff. I had experiences. We have to reclaim a few things. We have to eat well. That doesn't mean just going vegan. We have to eat well. You have to eat well. You have to treat your body right. You have to treat your mind right. You have to know.
See, it's like they talk almost like how a rapper writes 16 bars where you say a line and then you say a line that's connected to that line and it's a rhyme. And then when you move on to the next line, it's not necessarily connected to what you originally said. And then you say the next line and and then you put an end on that one. You say a line and you say the next line rhymes with that rhyme and that's connected. And then it's a whole nother point that you're making instead of a steady stream of a story. Like a good rapper. I hate that I got to compare the way that somebody just naturally talks to how rappers rap. But to me, a good rapper, the first line is connected to the next one and connected to the next one to the next one all the way to the end of the verse. It tells a story.
It's so fascinating what you just said. I wonder if there's a thing happening here, like, and this is like, you got to stop listening to so much rap. I'm not saying you, but just generally speaking, because I've noticed this, like, you have to expose yourself to other ways of thinking and expressing yourself because you start to become, what it is you do all the time, right? So if you listen to rap, you probably start to think in bars as opposed to one linear thought. And I wonder if that's a thing that you could actually start to look at as like a field of study. But like, if you listen to a lot of this stuff, does it change the way you sort of process? Does like how you actually form thoughts alter because of the way you actually take thoughts in? Because most rap doesn't really like give you, like you said, a direct, smooth, logical chain. It's a lot of broken thoughts thrown together in maybe a clever way. But I wonder what kind of impact that does have on the actual thought process. That is an interesting point to compare it to rap. Because I see what you're saying here. And him and Kanye best, that weird jumble stream of consciousness, it's hard to really understand how, what you're trying to get across when you speak like that.
Yeah. Just listen to any rapper rapping. You just take any lyrics, Jay-Z, I came into this motherfucker 100 grand strong, however many grand strong, 9 to be exact, from selling G packs and then or whatever. Something he said that, and then like the next line, he was like, if they would have told you that Hov would sell clothing, you know, never in his lifetime, never in his right mind. You know, then the next line is like, I'm forgetting what the next line was, but you can sort of see my point. It's like, it's just like a random, it's like a bunch of different separate, I think they call it similes,
Right.
And that's how them niggas be talking when they explain themselves. It's just like a bunch of separate bars, like just like you know, it's like
It's so funny you mention this because just the other day I was thinking about it because like I've actually stopped listening to as much as rap. Like when I used to, you know, listen to a lot of rap, I could quote all kind of stuff like you were doing. But
yeah,
now that
I can't no more. I had to go all the way back to the Blueprint 2001,
Right.
back when I graduated high school that year. That's when I used to listen. So the
Right.
fact that I had to go back that far to let you know I ain't listening to this current shit either.
But the thing is, like with that kind of distance, you can get perspective. And so I'm thinking about a lot of this stuff, and rap is essentially it's like just a handful of random thoughts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it can be put together in an actual song with a storyline that, you know, Nas would be good for stuff like that.
Mhm.
But a lot of what we listen to in rap is just a bunch of random thoughts, and not even like good thoughts, but the most like explosive random thoughts that you could think of, because you know you got to outdo each other with these random thoughts. And so what you wind up getting, as opposed to like a consistent, I don't know, a consistent imagery, something that you can make a consistent logical idea of in your mind, you just basically get a bunch of random ideas in your head. And it's like, I wonder if that actually does have an effect on people, where it's like, do people start to communicate in hip hop soliloquies, like you said, similes or whatever?
Yeah, it's like they're building a collage, like
Right.
of words. Like, yeah. Interesting thought. Somebody said critical rap theory. That might be a thing.
It will be now.
All right. That's the only thing I don't like about when they respond, is like they make a scatter shot of good points, but it's like it's a scatter shot. It's not a direct, you know, sniper rifle, pow, saw the target, hit the target, direct, and everybody understood exactly what happened. Like somebody could listen to this shit. You could listen to him talk and Kanye talk, and then, you know, and then hand it to 100 people, and you got 100 different interpretations. It's like that I don't like that. Like, get a sniper rifle, pow, everybody see what just happened.
Oh, what you're putting in here. You have to let go of things. You know what I'm saying? You like, I'll give you an example. I had to let go of seeing my ancestors buried in places that have been covered up by lakes. I had to go see museums with nooses around my ancestors' necks. I had to go see lawmakers that are still living today. That,
keep in mind, the last line was, before I paused it, was dieting and getting you get your diet. What do you think? He was talking about diet and getting your health right, which is a good point.
Right.
This is a good point. What you put in your body, and that affects everything, and that affects you know. But it's all over.
Put
all over the place.
A lot of my family members in bondage or in prison, or oppress them in some type of way. I had to go see that, and I had to let go of that energy, that hateful energy that I had, in order to move on in this world, to talk openly. Because if I didn't let it go, I would have been walking around as what? The angry black man.
But all right. Damn, we went too far off on the tangent on what he was talking about. We started analyzing speaking style of black people or black celebrities when they have a point that they want to make. We got.
Well, I was thinking about that. Maybe it's part of him being in this like little celebrity bubble. He can't really like have a typical conversation anymore. Like I wonder, there probably is a certain point of like wealth and celebrity, especially celebrity. Like you just can't interact with regular people like that. And so because you can't interact with regular people, do you even have regular conversations anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you tripping on that. I don't think you're tripping on that at all. But all right, I'll put the link in the chat if anybody want to come up and get a piece of this. Even though I I technically could wrap this thing up right now. I think we
Well,
good.
don't wrap it up yet. Don't wrap it up yet,
All
because
right.
I want to actually get into one more thing. Since we were talking about black men in the media, and I want to add somebody else. This is a smaller example here, but let me see. Where's this clip
All
at?
right, while you pull that.
Jalen Rose.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did want to talk about Jalen Rose. Okay, so while you pull that one up, y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. You know, some time ago I deleted my previous Instagram because I don't know, it just lied there dormant for so long, and then when I post something that didn't get views, now I'm back getting views. I got some stuff on there, some videos I dropped on there that got 20,000 views. So it's like I'm picking up. It only got 300 followers, but I've got videos that getting like 20,000 views. So it's not enough followers over there. So go over there. I'll be dropping a lot of stuff over there now. So go over there, subscribe to my Instagram. RM got it right there in the chat room. So just scroll up, find that one, click on it. Go follow me on the gram. Go follow me on the gram. I do appreciate it. But Hood Conservative got the Jalen Rose apology speech right there. Now this ain't the
Well,
one where
no. I want to do two things really quickly. I want to show you. This is like a before and after, because this is Jalen Rose with that whole Amika scandal, the cheating thing, and he got in trouble for saying something that what everybody else was saying at the time. It doesn't make sense that everybody's name is public except for hers. And so what? She's his employee. Act like chicks don't be wanting to sleep with their boss. And then because she's his employee, are we automatically assuming he was like, he did something, or was it just, obviously he broke company rules, but are we implying that he was like improper with her? Like, no, that whole thing was weird and wrong. And so I just want to play the beginning of Jalen Rose's rise and fall real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Jalen Rose, and I would like to apologize for a comment I made earlier on NBA Countdown. I question why a woman's name who had an alleged affair with Celtics head coach Ime Udoka was not made public. After an internal investigation, and it was discovered that she was a subordinate to the head coach, I now understand fully why her name should not be released to the public. Now back to our NBA coverage. I'm Jalen Rose, and I would like to apologize.
All right, now I'm gonna pull this up and show you what happened. Just a few, what was it, a week, 2 weeks later? How far is it? I mean, how long has it been since that?
It's just the degree in which he was obviously reading that just made it uncomfortable for me.
Oh yeah, that was one of the hostage videos.
I would like to apologize for what was like. God damn.
I think they made him do that like real quick on the spot. He didn't have no rehearse, no prep time. It was like, look, nigga, you have to get up there and apologize for what you said about this white woman.
Yeah.
Now, let's get back to Jalen Rose now after that moment. And this is such a weird contrast.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, let me have a conversation about my blackness for a second. In an election year, and also when you have circumstances that Ime Udoka put himself in, circumstances that you have Kyrie Irving put himself in, I've literally seen people trying to politicize the messengers. And I'm one of those people. And let me just say this out loud. It's very important. I did.
All right, is he trying to politicize the messenger, or is he one of the messengers? You kind of lost me on that one right there. I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't know what's going on thus far.
Trying to politicize the messengers. And I'm one of those people. And let me just say this out loud. It's very important. I did more for this culture before 9 a.m. today than most people gonna do in their lifetime. Just because I don't think Kyrie should be derailing the next season, just because I don't believe that the lady's name should be exposed based on the fact that the power dynamics are at play, and it's more to the Ime situation than most of you guys know.
Sound like the internet been getting on his ass and he ain't feeling it. The pressure getting to you, boy. all that internet stuff you were talking about, right?
Yeah, the internet, we in our own way are holding the black people that work for the big companies, the machine. We in our own way have been holding them accountable to where they look goofy as hell if they just start just toting certain party lines or don't touch on something or be critical of some shit that they shouldn't be critical of. Or so yeah, I do think that matters. But yeah, play ball.
If I'm not,
is your shit lagging?
No, I'm sorry, I was muted. Omega Dread's in the chat. He says, I think Jason Whitlock noticed the irony of the picture behind him. It's like, bro, are you really trying to stand in their greatness right now as you defend your blackness? You went to the heroes for support, bro. Really? You really you needed their help. You had to call in the big homies to give you some moral support.
If I'm not trumpeting what is low-hanging fruit, that don't make me a sellout. And by the way, I was with the great Sir Charles Barkley last night. And we had a 2-hour conversation about this. 2-hour conversation about this in person. Had a 2-hour conversation with Charles Barkley about this. Just because I don't agree with Kanye or Kyrie, that don't mean that I'm cooning for the man. That means that.
I mean, if you had to say it, bro.
I missed what he said. He said, just because I don't agree with Kyrie or Kanye, that don't mean what?
I don't agree with Kanye or Kyrie. That don't mean that I'm cooning for the man. That means that I don't believe what he's doing is right.
They started throwing the coon at him. Look at him, coon face right now. I was the perfect freeze frame too. Jalen Rose, coon face.
Hold on, let me get this stuff off of there so we can really.
Yeah, we got to save that image. Internet, do your thing. Jalen Rose, coon face, make it happen.
That's funny.
And go.
That is funny as hell.
That's a fact. And so it's important for people that look like me, Jacoby, in particular, to not politicize what's happening with Kyrie and Ime and Kanye and shoot the messenger. I ain't gonna always ride with somebody.
How do you not politicize something that is basically, I mean, is it even political anyway? What do you mean by politicize? I don't even like his use of the word. This is not a Republican Democrat thing here. This is, honestly, this is ethnic conflict. All right, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Their group versus our group. And our group is unhappy with some of the things that we see their group doing. And they're not only doing, but forcing members of our group to do.
Yeah.
This is not politics.
Exactly.
Just because they black. If I think you wrong, I don't care what color you are. That's just being real. I ain't about to be following behind nobody that I think is wrong. And let me tell y'all something else. What he doing ain't an act of civil rights. He's not being oppressed. He ain't being oppressed.
Wow.
Is he referring to Kyrie right there?
Kyrie, most likely, but either or, Kyrie, Kanye. I mean, that's an interesting point. Okay,
Well,
they're not being oppressed.
You can
All right.
argue that they're not being oppressed if you, but we'll get into semantics with that one. We'll get into semantics because I mean, they're an oppressed billionaire out there. I typically say no, but if he say is so, even if you take the word oppressed off of it, what's being done is that they're definitely They're definitely shafting him in some way. Like, for example, Kyrie lost his deal with Nike, and now the Nets basically saying you ain't playing for us no more if certain demands aren't made. Some sensitivity training and demonstrating understanding and blah 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 blah. So I mean, we can play the semantics and call that oppression or say it's not oppression, but it's definitely a shafting taking place of some sort. So I mean, so why even play around with that? Okay, I'll give it to you. Okay, these millionaires aren't being oppressed, but still, it's still another group basically saying we not to be fucked with, and by fucked with, I mean you're not to say anything slightly remotely disparaging about us, and if you do, you're gonna get publicly perp walked through the whole through all of media, social media, everywhere. We're gonna that's something being done there. It's like you can't deny that part. They fucking with it.
I wonder what actually let me phrase this properly. What actually does more damage to the black body politic, right? The black group. What does more damage? The image of George Floyd, and this is totally media conjured this up. Like the media wanted to show us this image over and over ad nauseum. You can't deny how much the media fed this beast, right? So what did more damage? What will do more damage to the black group psyche, I guess is a good way to put it, right? The image of George Floyd, who was an otherwise unremarkable black drug addict, right? He was an unremarkable black person. There was nothing about George Floyd up until that moment that was of any real note, right? And so he gets killed by a police officer, and it's all on camera for everyone to see. And whatever we may think about the motives and the verdict is irrelevant. We saw what we saw. The video spoke for itself, right? What is more damaging, that or watching some of the most successful, some of the most accomplished, some of the most giving, like involved members of the black community, people who have risen essentially to the top of their field, watch them be forced to bend the knee. And not only are they being forced to bend the knee, we're now watching a cadre of other successful black people who are now, we can see them being forced into line. And so my question is, one, what is more damaging to the black psyche? What, that image of some nobody getting killed by the police, because I'm sorry, niggas get shot every day, B, or black millionaires and billionaires essentially getting blackballed for what is most likely a relatively true statement about, black Semites. And then even let's go further, even if they themselves don't believe that the Holocaust happened, right? Even if they themselves don't believe that, we are now watching some of essentially the more powerful black people, like the most well-known, the most noteworthy black people, they have to bend the knee to something that we're not allowed to acknowledge. And why do people still want to play around with this thing called white supremacy? It's a weird game that we're playing. We are eyeball to eyeball with the goddamn beast, and we still want to pretend it's a white supremacy thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Good points and good questions. Good points and good questions. Is that the end of this clip, or is there some more of it?
A little bit.
Oh yeah, go ahead and roll the rest.
And let me tell y'all something else. What he doing ain't an act of civil rights. He's not being oppressed. He ain't being oppressed. He getting $40 million to play basketball this year. He ain't being oppressed.
But they want you to apologize South Park style. No, notice how all that civil rights stuff just went right out the window. You see how all of a sudden you're not allowed to play the racism card. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Our one superpower. Like, we don't get a lot. We don't really, I'm sorry, like black folk, we ain't got much in this world, but we do have one superpower. Boom, can't even use that shit.
Yeah, it was like, why are you not playing the race card now? You always play the race card. This is what the race card was invented for. This moment right here, and you don't want to play it.
You ever play spades and the motherfucker supposed to cut the deck? I mean, he supposed to play spades and he don't play, he play off, and you just look at him like, why you don't take the book? You got a spade, nigga. Take the goddamn book. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? All of a sudden, this nigga don't know how to play spades no more. I can't stand you niggas.
Trumping over his partner Ace, reneging, all kind of shit going on. Shannon Sharp reneging his ass off and everything. Niggas don't know how to play spades no more.
Niggas out here looking crazy at the cookout, bro. This shit wild.
Oh shit. Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
No, that was about it. Let me see.
So I just had to say that and woosah, because this podcast is therapy for me.
All right.
Take the book, nigga. Take the goddamn book.
So we are joined here today by oh shit, I didn't mean to do that, but we are joined by Complex Design. You had took the link before we even was talking about Jalen Rose, so you don't got to stay on that. Whatever prompted you to come on up, feel free to go ahead and speak on it. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bernard? Good morning, everyone.
What's up?
I'm gonna throw something out here that might flip the table just a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right. All of this is a cover story.
Uh-oh. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's all a cover story. So 2 weeks ago, the New York Supreme Court reversed the M-date ruling in New York. Okay. So what's happening here is there's a few things going on. Number one, all businesses in New York are on the hook for anybody they let go, had on unpaid leave, all that. All those people have to go back to work and receive back pay as a result of this ruling. You know what that means for the Nets organization?
No.
Kyrie owns. They owe Kyrie some money. Excuse me.
They owe employees. They owe contractors. They owe a bunch of other athletes who basically walked, and they know their contracts because they weren't going to take the you know what. Okay. Second thing, you know what kind of legal precedent this has opened up to the NBA? Now, Kyrie effectively punked the NBA when the New York Supreme Court reversed the ruling. Kyrie is effectively the only unvaccinated player in the NBA, and he's doing it legally. Everybody else has a fucking problem with this. So all of the brothers in the media, they're just playing their part. Kudos to them. This is a fucking cover story. That's all I wanted to throw out there. Just something to consider, you guys.
No, I had not thought of that, and I actually kind of see the thread in that logic, and it does make sense in the grand scheme of things where a year ago.
Let's do this. In the last 24 hours, Adam Silver and what's his name? Joel Tsai, the owner of the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize they just reversed course and now they're talking in support of Kyrie. You guys know that in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, really? I saw some stuff on that this morning when I was.
They're changing their tune all of a sudden. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I saw something on that this morning when I was putting the show together. I didn't have time to really to watch it, and we had already had a bunch of stuff, so I was like, yeah, we have to get on that later when they start really truly changing their tune. But they said that I read a clipping. It said Adam Silver met with Kyrie, and Adam Silver
doesn't believe he's anti-Semitic
or something like that. I read that headline right when I was getting the show set up, but I was like, okay, we gotta pretend like that didn't happen and just do the show. That'll throw off our recap of everything that happened thus far. So we had to we'll have to hop on that later. Yeah. Let's give it 30, 36, 48, maybe 72 hours and see what happened after. Oh, so now they're
I'm trying to see how long this angle, this smoke screen, because like I said, in the last 24 hours, all of a sudden, right, the commissioner and the owner of the Nets, they changed their tune. So I'm trying to see how long this whole documentary Twitter posting is going to play out, and how much of an issue black men in the media are really going to make it, when I think we know what's actually going on here. Matter of fact, I think brothers in the media know too.
There's
think they
something
do
else we
also.
forgot to play, Bernard. There's a clip I'm gonna find for you from Jalen Brown. I meant to cover this a while ago, but apparently he broke ranks before everybody.
Mm.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna pull that up.
Okay. All right.
Dude, behind the scenes, they all know what's up.
Yeah. Now you threw out something interesting. If I
I told you I was
understood
going
what
to
you
flip
were,
this bitch. I told you.
if I understood what you were saying, that basically that they're saying they're going to have to pay relief to the people who
New York, the Supreme Court ruling said any company that let go employees or have employees on unpaid leave, they all have to be called back to work and they all receive back pay.
now,
Okay.
and Kyrie falls into that. Like they
Yes.
they're gonna owe Kyrie damn near 40 mil.
Well, they're going to owe a bunch of people money, contractors, employees, other players that walked because they said they weren't going to do it. So they got to honor those contracts.
That's interesting, man.
Wait, what about this? Now that ruling is now a legal precedent. Guess what other NBA players can do now? Potentially sue.
I had the name wrong. It was this guy Jay Williams.
Oh, Jay Williams. Yeah. I mentioned him earlier in the show, actually. So no, Jay Williams. He was one of the first ones who sounded off. He didn't do it on his show. But he did it on he basically just cammed up on his cell phone and went off. He was one of the first ones to do it.
Yeah, that was the clip I was looking for. I got it now. It was that was when I first noticed people kind of starting to actually peel away from the mainstream narrative. Like, wait. It's one thing to say Kyrie's wrong. It's another thing to watch him have to go through all of these hoops and basically like you got to kiss more than a ring to get your job back, bro. You wasn't even really wrong. You just did something that people don't like. Like, there's a difference between being wrong and then they just don't like something.
But no, here's what it is. I think a lot of these dudes are starting to realize what it is that he was actually being with the witch hunt was actually for. Because, dude, like, look, athletes post all kind of shit on Twitter, dude. Kyrie's posted all kind of shit on Twitter. They like I said, they conveniently chose this because of that ruling. You got to understand, dude, this was just 2 weeks ago. And it was literally about 2 weeks ago when this whole thing broke with Kyrie. Like ironically enough, around the same time.
That's something you got to consider. It's hard for me to know if that's true, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if little secret machinations like that happen all the time.
Well, when the commissioner and the owner of the team is just literally in the last 24 hours then switched up, sums up. So look, I got to go cook my daughter breakfast, man. She's got they got a playoff game today. Go Wolverines! Y'all have a good one. Wanted to throw that out.
Wait. What does she play?
All right, man. Hope you guys win, man.
No. She's cheerleader, dude. Youth football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's cheerleader.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. Have a good day, bro.
All right, you too. Peace.
All right. Go ahead and roll the beautiful bean footage.
Every day of my life, I approach it with a state of empathy, right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a Black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the Black community. And I want you guys to empathize with it and hear me on it. So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in this skit.
Yeah, I was about to say,
put
pause real quick.
Takes money from the state of Mississippi.
That's where, sometimes use bad examples, even though, remember how we said how Kyrie talked and I was like a random disconnected, Jay Williams is not speaking like that. He's speaking how you should speak. It has a direct beginning, middle, and end in a path that he's going down and he's going to land the plane. However, that was a bad example. Imus, before social media even started canceling people, Imus was one of the first ones. He was one of the original OGs of getting perp walked through social media, because social media was just getting off the ground back when he did the nappy headed whole thing. So that's not a good example.
Well, here's the thing, though, that's interesting about that. And it's like you said about, Candace Owens can put out that documentary, but like Ann Coulter, she probably can't. And Don Imus can, he can't say nappy-headed hoes. And they were some nappy-headed hoes. Like, you see how we can joke about how nappy-headed the hoes are, and nobody's going to bat an eye. Nobody's going to play any card. There's no race card. There's nothing you can say if we joke about how nappy-headed them hoes were. But Don Imus, automatically he's a bad guy and we have to get rid of him. Like I don't like that game. There's just something uncomfortable about what that game really means. What you're saying is there is no rule system. It's just that somebody secretly picks who they like and who's allowed to say what they want to say. But there is no true order to things. There's just a secret rule.
No, that's facts. That is definitely facts. It's been shown to be true that it's arbitrary. It's arbitrary on who can say what, when, how, why, who can say what, when, why, and how. It's very arbitrary in that sense. And speaking of that statement that you made when you said there was some nappy-headed hoes, shout out to D.L. Hughley.
And then let's face it, he called them hoes, nappy-headed hoes, and they weren't hoes. But there was some nappy-headed women on that team. Shut up, I'm gonna say it. I don't give a damn, y'all like it or not. It's true. Them are some of the ugliest women I ever seen in my whole life.
We're right. Come on. And you see, this is like, oh my God. So I'm not even gonna go there. It's just one of those things where like Black people are allowed to get away with saying all kind of offensive stuff, right? But is it because is it our job? Is that your job to be that way, right? But the thing is, like, so if Don Imus is wrong, why is D.L. Hughley not wrong? And he's funny too, and it's not because he's funny, obviously.
Black,
but why is
black? He black, they black, all their mama's black. That's why.
But where's the logic and the order to that? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's no real logic and order to it. It's just obviously there's this quasi capricious rule system.
Yeah. Who make? See, I don't even want to ask you who makes those rules.
You almost got me. Y'all, wasn't gonna step in that one.
We don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize, and then you know what? The rest of the world moves on. But what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the Black community, like, we've been told that's how the process works, right? Think about that, Bert. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. Is that person really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay. We understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of Black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with,
and I think when last time you and I spoke about this, I kind of raised that issue. Do Black people actually have our own power, or do we only operate under the umbrella of another power?
Yeah. Damn. Say, I remember the conversation now, but so let's say, okay, so you said, do Black people really have our own power, or do our power only operate under the umbrella of another power? I think I use This is how Shaka Nulu said victim power, but I think I understand what he mean by that, because I at least how I interpret that. There is a certain amount of power in how Don Imus got perp walked through the through the media. He had to go on an apology tour.
But obviously we don't own the media. So like, was that
Exactly.
really us? Like, we can't fight our own battles.
That's why I said, and as somebody who don't listen to rap, I find myself quoting rap lyrics to make a point. But if you notice, all the lyrics come from a time back when I used to listen to it. So Tupac said, we may fight amongst each other, but I promise you this, we'll burn this bitch down if you get us pissed. Now, oddly enough, that's where our power comes from. When George Floyd got killed, we burned this bitch down. Not we, because I didn't cast a stone.
That was them niggas.
Yeah, that was them niggas over there. But yeah, that's so there is power in the riot. There is power in the riot. Basically, the threat of burning this shit to the ground if y'all do some if shit get out of line. So it's like that's where that's the disjointed, all over the place, unorganized power come from.
Okay,
Don't say shit about us. Don't do nothing wrong to us. We gonna wow the fuck out.
If we are a hammer, who wields it?
Well, in the burning the shit to the ground, going down, burning down in police stations, like right after George Floyd.
That's the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, if that's the hammer, who wields it?
In that sense, black people are wielding it. But when it comes to Imus getting perp walked, we don't.
No, Bernard, the hammer never wields itself. Thor's hammer doesn't wield itself. You see what I'm saying here? If that's the hammer, who wields it? Who swings the hammer? Hammers don't swing themselves. Guns don't shoot themselves, bro.
Mm-hmm. Got it. I got it. But that's I think. Well, let me just make sure I land the plane. When it comes to a riot, it is black people wielding that hammer if the riot is the hammer. But when it comes to the canceling of somebody through media corporations, pulling advertisement dollars and blah, 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 no, we don't have that power to do that. No, black people don't have that power to do that. So again, that hammer is coming from somewhere else. And that goes to your original thesis, how the small hats enlist us to be the special ops to put a spotlight on everything that white people are doing wrong. And so they are the hammer. Allegedly. That our power comes from them. So we're in cahoots with them. But when we fuck around and say something to them, something about them, like Kanye did, like Kyrie did, then it's the reminder of don't bite the hand that feeds you, nigga. I'm the only one to give you power. I think that's what you're getting at.
If you complain about this dog collar, I will tighten it.
Yeah.
Oh, too much. I'm pretty sure this is a Patreon stream at this point.
I was planning on leaving it up. I don't know where the line is. I've been a little risque lately because I just be looking at a lot of streams and I be seeing, it's like they letting a lot rock. So I'm got a little lenient on the on the stuff that I take to Patreon or not take to Patreon. So this one might stay up. But Nick Taylor in the building says, "Happy Saturday, y'all." And is it just me or that's thinking why have not seen DR and Draymond Green in the same place at the same time? How tall is DR?
Under this lighting, yeah, you look a little Draymond-ish.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. It mostly came from white people here in Michigan. Draymond is actually from my hometown, and so yeah. So I get that a lot. More from white people than black people, but a lot of people do say I look like Draymond Green. I personally don't like that comparison, but whatever. But the Black Merlin in the building says power is the ability to define a thing and make you respect that definition by law or by force if necessary. Thank you for the super chat.
Sounds about right.
Appreciate that. Do appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, he's not done now. Jay Williams, he isn't done yet.
All right, let's go.
Kyrie is even after an apology. It's not enough.
Let's pause real quick.
We feel like there need.
And by the way, I don't know if Black Merlin got a channel, but Nick Taylor, who just sent a super chat, go and sub to him at your own risk. Well, if you can stomach Hood Server, if you can stomach Nick Taylor, but go sub to him at your own risk.
Nick Taylor, good.
Yeah. I mean, I had him on my show. You know, Nick Taylor be triggering folks. Nick Taylor brought out all the people that as you know, I was going to call him one of the names that Lil Big Nate be calling leftist black men. Nick Taylor brought them all out. He brought all the boys to the yard that day. But so shout out to Nick Taylor. Go check.
Yo, you know what's wild? Nobody want to fight me anymore, bro. I miss those days, man. Niggas used to want to fight me all the time and shit. Yo, pull up, come to my stream. They put my name in shit. Nobody want to fight. Niggas don't want to beef with me no more. I'm happy, but I miss it at the same time. It's weird.
Needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. So we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the Black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him. And there's a bigger situation going on. What's happening with Kyrie Irving? If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should.
Hey, shout out to Complex. Maybe the Nets are trying to find a way to finagle themselves out of a bad situation.
If they fire him or trade him, they don't got to pay him.
I don't know what the contract says, but you know they might be in a pickle and they don't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
Should hold everybody accountable, even owners of teams accountable, with things that are happening in other countries, i.e. China and Uyghurs and the Muslim genocide that is occurring, that we hear Enes Kanter talk about.
Not the Uyghurs we know. not the American version. It's an Asian version. It's pronounced Uyghurs, but you know.
Speaking of Uyghurs, I'm gonna make a short about this. I saw something that was like the funniest thing ever. When I don't know what made Candace Owens bring up Bad Baby, the Catch Me Outside chick, but Candace Owens did like a brief impression of Bad Baby, and it was the funniest thing ever to see a black girl who talked white do an impression of a white girl that talked black. It was the most weird, off-putting thing I ever saw because I was sitting there thinking, I wonder if Bad Baby could do a Candace Owens impression. And would she sound normal talking like Candace Owens? And then I looked at Candace Owens talking like Bad Baby, and I was like, hey, if I'd never seen Candace Owens before, I was like, hey, that would look normal. But anyway, it was weird and funny.
Wow.
It was all kinds of fucked up.
Bizarro world for real,
Yeah. But anyway, play ball.
Energy for everybody. We pick and choose what conversational points we want to make more polarizing. And I might lose my job. I might lose deal opportunities in the future for speaking out about even the platforms that continue to promote and profit a movie that is considered anti-Semitic to billions of people. They don't have to be accountable. Who is accountable? But we're going to put everything on the shoulders of Kyrie.
No one's calling Jeff Bezos an anti-Semite for selling this. And I think that's an interesting point, too. Because more than anybody, Jeff Bezos, you got more power than anybody at Amazon, right? And you're making a little bit of coin off this movie, so you support it more than Kyrie does.
No, he's making a lot of coin because now it's the most downloaded or uploaded or purchased documentary on Amazon right now in this last week, I guess. So, Jeff Bezos is making a lot of money off of it. Now, go ahead.
No, I just thought of that clip with Lyor Cohen at the Breakfast Club talking to Charlamagne and them, and he was like, "What? I got a business to run. I got a family to feed."
I got to go a step further. And I got to put on my my pro-black Hotep hat right now. Them going after Kyrie, who shared it, but not going after the distribution of it. Isn't there some parallels in that? How they say when it came to the war on drugs, they went after the drug dealer. They didn't go after the distribution, the people that brought it in. You know, you see what I'm saying? I gotta put on my pro-black Hotep hat on this one.
You mean like the CIA?
Uh-oh.
Well, Oliver North.
Well, okay. I forget exactly how it worked. I think the CIA bought it from where? Colombia, and then they gave it to the mob, and then the mob sold it to black folks. Is that pretty much how it went?
That's a rough telling of it, yeah.
Yeah, so if they really wanted to stop it, they technically could have stopped it at the gates of Mexico or wherever the hell. So so there's that. Y'all ain't really trying to stop anti-Semitism, or y'all would have went right to the source of who was distributing the shit. That's Jeff Bezos. So yeah, I had to put on my Hotep hat on that one. Had to put a dashiki. They made me put a dashiki on. Shit.
Don't worry, I got one too, bro. It's good. It's okay. I bust it out every now and then.
Yeah, I don't like having to bust out the dashiki. I don't. But, yeah. But anyway, play ball.
Irving, who, even though he said I cannot be anti-Semitic because if I know where I came from, stating that he's one of the 4 lost tribes. He's saying that blacks and Jews come from the same entity, the same thing. But we don't want to understand nuance. We want to be triggered by words, and we like fire, and we like things that are, going viral on social media, and everybody has some kind of hot take, and we're calling people idiots, and we're calling people names because that's what we do. We just destroy each other. I ain't gonna destroy each other, man. I'm not gonna do that. Is Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic? Hell no. Could he have gone about it maybe a different way? That's what I would have advised him to do. But I'm not gonna let you guys.
I don't understand. Going about what differently? Like you got to post links differently? Is there another way to post links? Is there a non-anti-Semitic way to post a link to the Hebrews to Negro? Like, this is what I hate about y'all niggas, man. Just stand on that shit, bro. Just stand on it. He wasn't wrong. If you're uncomfortable with some things in the documentary, fine. I accept that. But I'm not gonna have a fight with you about it. You don't have to like it. I don't have to like everything you like. Goddamn, suck it up and move on.
These niggas, they taking a stand, but they making sure they saying just enough, but just not enough to keep their damn job. I respect it.
I get it. I know, bro. I know. It's hard standing up to massa, bro. It really is hard.
I sit out here and make this dude out to be like he is a villain, like he is a bad person. He is looking to explore his heritage. Now, you can crucify me if you want. I don't give a damn anymore. It's time for people to start speaking out with nuance and speaking out on the principles they stand for. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah, I dig it. But that's pretty much gonna wrap this thing up. Man. Shout out to everybody in the building, everybody who supported the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. And shout out to Hood Conservative who pretty much outlines these Saturday shows. And man, this was definitely a good one, even though it's risky. It was such a good one to me. I gotta leave it up. I'm gonna leave it up. I want people to watch this one on the restream. But no, great show, and everybody in the building appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure y'all sub to Hood Conservative. His content is this type of shit all day, every day, and he don't care if he loses his channel because he be saying crazy shit on his channel. So make sure
I do care. I'm learning to be better, bro. I'm trying to find. I know there's an invisible line, and I'm trying to find a way to figure out where the invisible line is. So it's not that I don't care. It's just that I want to get up as close to the line as possible. I always have this saying, like, tell me what the rules are so I know how to cheat better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your channel is like The Price is Right. You got to come as close as you can without going over. Like you got to get right right on that edge. If it's $6, you bidding $5.99 on that motherfucker every time. $5.99 every time on it. But shout out to Nick Taylor, Black Merlin, John 81101. Starred some of them. Captain Cisco, Uncle Stu, Old Man on the Block. I can't remember who else. But shout out to everybody. Sir Tice, appreciate everybody who supported the stream. With that said, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.